All right, so you know about words, right?
I mean, as I said, from time to time I use them.
All right. So the phrase obedient servant,
Mm-hmm.
why did that mean something different before, and what the hell exactly did it mean?
Hey, why am I hearing your voice doing some other shit?
I don't know. Why are you hearing
I
my
know
voice
why.
do
I
something?
know why.
Did you
I
get
know
the
why.
second link?
Yeah, I did. I got it.
Okay.
All right. So about what you said, why did that mean one thing at one point and
Yeah,
something
like
else at another?
I heard it used as a salutation at the end of a letter. Why? What the hell was the meaning of that?
Well, and you know, I'm not an expert on the shit,
Mm.
but the obedient, I think that was a form of saying, that was a way of showing that you were very affable, and amenable
Yeah, that makes
to,
sense.
the person that you're contacting. Like, yo, I'm willing to work with you. I'm willing to, whatever you need me to do, blah, blah, blah. I think that's what it had to do with. But
Okay.
I would strongly suggest you look it up
Yeah.
because it might also have some other subtext
Right.
to it. But I know it was not necessarily literal in all cases.
Right. 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 Because they did that in Hamilton, and I was what you said is kind of what I was thinking because it made sense in context of what was going on.
Right.
Because they were writing letters to each other, but they was beefing at the same time. But they were like they were serious about what each of them were saying. Like they were not backing down on their separate sides of this argument.
Right.
And each letter ended with it is my honor to be your obedient servant. Yeah, so
they was on some bullshit.
Right.
They was on some bullshit. They was on some bullshit. I think I'm gonna start ending every text every text exchange with you and Addie.
Yo, you're so dumb. I hate you. I hate your guts.
I think I'm gonna start ending all of my texts, even the trolly ones.
That's yo, that is hilarious.
Oh,
matter of
boy.
fact, let me find the exact quote before I finish sharing this while this shit is on my mind.
All right,
yo, because being servant. There we go. I have the honor to be your obedient servant. Yep. Yo, that's some like listen. The funny thing about Hamilton, right, is the telling of an old time story through modern language for the most part.
Right.
So that when they go back into using the old language, it stands out.
Right. Right.
So like that, like little shit like that really struck me because like I know that's like olden time ways of just being petty as fuck.
Yeah. Sure. That's that old school petty
also
shit.
It has to be something that people would say sincerely.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that situation, right? So yeah, like oh man.
Just saying.
That yo. Listen. And I can only use it with y'all because nobody else would know what the fuck I'm talking about. Even people that watched it,
that wouldn't know. Yeah,
probably wouldn't have caught it.
It's one of these things where everybody is not as observant.
Yeah,
they don't pick up on shit. Like, I think one of the common denominators with all the people that are in like my circle, even if it's a circle from a long time ago,
yeah,
it's that the attention to minute details. I have found that to be a common denominator. My homeboy CJ, Tonio, when we was working at the Phillips warehouse shit, and we, this is when the fucking Boondocks was at the height of its whatever. Yo, we would pick the smallest little shit in there. And we didn't have to watch it together.
Right.
We all picked the same little ass shit in there. Something that Riley may have said in the middle of the exchange between two other people. Riley in the background saying some shit. Stink meaner. Little shit that he would say in the midst of the whole like when he stepped on Granddad's shoes the first time they met his ass. He stepped on the shoes.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Shit like that we found hilarious. But we found more hilarious is when he tried to park and he said some shit like, I know somebody out of my parking space. Right. Yo, the way he said that shit.
Right.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Ain't nobody in my parking space. This is for handicap.
Yo, little shit like that.
Facts.
So I think that's the reason why somebody else wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
If you started talking about, the obedience and shit.
I hate wasting my brilliance.
Yeah, well.
Certain people just don't deserve it.
Join the club. join the club. I don't know. Like I said, I've often said this, so this is a thing with me. I am not a genius.
Right.
By no stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
There are times where I'm dumb as fuck about a lot of shit.
You.
I'm just interested. That's it, yo.
Yeah, brilliance is just not using the dictionary.
The literal,
definition.
right.
Yeah, but brilliance to me isn't a measure of intelligence. It's a measure of expertise.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you have a certain amount of experience with this. Why do you have a certain amount of experience? Could be many reasons, but one of them could just be you fucking care.
I care about it. That's it. And
That's it.
I think that maybe that understanding of myself leads to the misunderstanding of others.
Yeah.
Because I'm expecting them to, you don't think this is important to know over here? You don't think? No?
A little bit.
Oh, okay.
A little bit.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think leads to a lot of the conflicts and some of the stuff we're going to talk about on today's show is one of the things, because there are people that I absolutely like and fuck with that do this shit, and I'd be like, damn, man, I didn't think you was that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't like you don't see what this is. You really don't get this part of it.
Nah, people be obtuse.
Obtuse as fuck.
Some of it is on purpose. Some of
it's on purpose. Some of it's not. And look, hey, far be it from me to act like there's not times when I am not being obtuse.
Absolutely.
Sometimes purposely so, but mostly that's in service of the troll.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like most of the time when I'm being purposely obtuse, it's in service of the troll. Like,
yeah.
But,
and it's relatively easy to know that that's what you're doing.
Yeah, it's so obvious, right?
Yeah, it's not it's
so
not
obvious.
a situation where you're trying to be disingenuous at all.
Right. I'm literally part of the troll, part of the joke is me being purposely.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's part of it.
Like you're well aware, and the people that you're talking to are well aware that
you're aware.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where is all right, got this. Don't need this. Definitely don't need this. This is empty. Okay. I'll keep this open for later. And oh god, all these folders. Don't need this, but I get why that was open. All right, now tabs. That was just folders.
Damn.
Tabs.
Well, I did they had a Windows update that it was sitting on my thing notification. So I said, let me do this because I always restart my computer before we do the show anyway.
Yeah.
So I said, I might as well go ahead and do this. I did that a little earlier.
Yeah.
You know what we haven't done in a while too on the show?
Mm.
I got some stuff to talk about today. The whole what did you do?
Yeah. That's really where I want this first topic to fit.
Yeah.
Actually, because I really have no intention on giving them any real
facts,
buzz,
facts,
time or anything.
Facts.
But I do want to be fair and a fairness that's not toxic, but still necessary because life exists and it's complicated.
Well, sometimes the reason to be fair in the argument, and it's actually going to be that way with somebody else on this topic too. The thing about being fair, it's in service to your argument. It's a lot of the times, not every single time, but a lot of times it's in service to your argument.
Absolutely.
Of what you're actually saying and not what, they'll try to straw man you and say, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to steel man the other guy's position in order for you to accurately do yours so you don't get straw man.
Yeah.
Because they'll say, "Oh, you just don't understand." No, I just explained to you your
I clearly explained.
I understood your position. I know what you're trying to say. I
just don't agree.
I agree with you. I don't agree with you because you're dumb. But whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
it is what it is. Face bickety. All right. Let me see. If we go here, come on, you can do it. It's dumb new Facebook. All right, get rid of you. What the? Just now.
What happened?
Got another thing for the week.
Stop.
Literally that second. Just I have another thing.
Yeah, hey, that's how life works.
Okay. All right. Bet. Let me see. All right. About to hit the record. All right. Let me look. Double check. We are currently recording. And it's on you, my guy.
Well, I think it's time to get started. Welcome, everyone, to the Black Culture Geeks podcast. This is my man, SPJ.
You.
And I am Tombstone the Dead Man. And we are just a couple of geeks talking about pop culture from a Black perspective. Facts indeed. Now, we have a few stories. You know how we do. A few topics today we want to talk about. I do want to talk kind of, before we jump into that, because like usually we used to do this thing where we would ask each other what we did this week, right? And we haven't really done it formally in a while because we hadn't need to. We just let it happen organically.
Yeah.
But today, I did kind of want to start off with a couple of things. Just a couple, right? One very important thing is this week, I fell back in love with my Canon T6i.
Word.
I mean, I changed some of the settings on there to the point where it allowed me to be able to color grade without any influence of the actual camera's decision on shit, and it has allowed my color grading video to like that color grade really elevates. A proper color grade will elevate video footage. And in the process of doing that, I have been inspired more often to record more content.
Word.
Most of this content, of course, is going on our Patreon.
Absolutely.
And
the link is on that bottom left corner.
Excellent. You can see any of this content you want for the low cost of $1 a month.
Or more
if you one of these big spenders got, a little more of help. But the thing about it that's so dope is, we talked about this a while ago, not on the show, but just in the conversation. When you have a lot of equipment and software and a lot of the shit that you kind of need, it can either discourage you or inspire you.
Bruh.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's so much, you can do so much, you don't even know where to start. And that will, create problems of its own. Other times, you'll do one thing and see how good it came out. And then it inspires you to do a whole bunch of other shit.
And
you use all of your tools to be able to use all of your tools.
Shut up out there.
To be able to use all of your tools to produce something that you find to be very dope. Oh, bruh. Damn. You know what? When you told them to shut up out there, they was like, who are you talking to? Nigga.
No, I see they waiting for somebody.
They're bastards.
I'm mad at the person honking, but I'm also mad at the person making the wait.
Absolutely. So, like I was saying, having the amount of software that I have now, and the amount of equipment. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still some things that I definitely want. We talked about that too. I definitely need the gimbal. It's without question. Got to get that. But gimbals, yeah, with the S on it. I don't know where I'll be finding that S. But look,
we have a deal.
That's true. We got to get it. But yeah, right. I feel like having all of that stuff and then producing one piece of thing that came out all right, it inspired everything else that I was doing. And one of those things was the little impromptu short music video, right?
Right.
Now, I've been messing around with music videos for a while, so I've kind of got some of the technique down, some of the core technique down, syncing the music up with the person's voice and all of that shit, like that sort of thing. That's a lot of it, to be honest. That's a lot of it. The edits be damned. You're gonna have to put edits in there, of course, but syncing that's important. And I did that, and I like the way it came out, so I decided I'm going to be doing more of those because I got a bunch of throwaway verses that I never put to any beats or whatever, just sitting on my fucking Google Doc or whatever. So I would do some shit like that. Of course, those type of things though will mostly go on the Patreon account.
The Patreon.
Yeah. And I know for a lot of people that have been fans of my music for a while, one of the things that I've always heard them say is they say, you need to do more music videos. You need to do more music videos. And they was right. The only reason why I didn't do a lot of music videos was because, well, at the time I didn't have the technique down, and I also didn't have the equipment to get the quality that I want. And I ain't just want to put out any fucking thing, especially considering the amount of attention that I was getting.
Right.
I ain't want to. So this what you did? Like
right.
That's what you do. So I didn't want to just do that. And I know there are people, because I said it myself, that'll say, don't wait till you have everything. But I felt like I was already doing enough. I was already getting the benefit of people being interested in the music. And I felt like giving them then a substandard video. When, especially at a certain point in my career where my sound quality wasn't exactly where I wanted it. So now that's just another thing that's not of quality. You know what I'm saying? That I'm giving to people. I ain't want to do that. I ain't want to do that. So now that I have great cameras, lights, the experience, software, and on top of that, I can get my audio to sound the way I like it to sound.
You're welcome.
It's yeah, facts. That's what we call facts. You know what I'm saying? But now that I can do that, I feel like it kind of inspires me to be more creative with it, because one thing about music, for me anyway, and maybe because I've been doing it so long, I know this is gonna sound terrible to a lot of my fans and shit, but music don't move me like it used to.
Right.
I've been doing it too long. 38 damn years. Like it doesn't move. I don't have that.
You're jaded.
I'm jaded because look, I know the process. I know how everybody else do their process. So I'm sitting there going, it doesn't move me like it used to. But what does move me though is having all of these different capabilities to build layers around that content. So there's the song, right? And then there's all the other things around that song, from promotional pics to little music videos to all the other shit around it.
I just had an idea.
Oh shit. He's thinking.
So you want me to do a music video?
Oh, that's the other thing, y'all. I came in his neck the other day that he need to do more music. He need at least one music video.
And what was my response?
He was scared. He didn't want to do it.
No, terrified.
Excuse me. He was terrified.
Yep. 100%. And I ain't scared to admit it.
He was Tony Stark when Thanos snapped.
Not was. This isn't past tense. This is the future. I mean, this is the future and the present we're talking about.
Oh, damn. That's right.
Cut that. Yeah, like, no, not past tense. I will do a music video for Same Energy.
Ah, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Challenge accepted. Challenge accepted.
Word.
Challenge accepted. Now, that's the other thing that bothers me, right? So when I did the music video, because shit is kind of closed down. Yeah, we can go certain places, but
but we don't have the full availability.
We don't have the full availability of everything. That's what pisses me off, because location-wise, I would love to have been in various different locations with dope-ass backdrops. Even if the backdrop was in a depth of field Boca, don't matter. That still has some artistic value to it, right?
Thanks.
But gotta say, even just around the outskirts of my home, shit is all about angles, man. It's really all about angles and edits.
Absolutely.
Angles and edits, because I only use I use 3 different set pieces in this video. Behind in my studio part, right? My backyard, and then another part of the basement.
Yeah.
Right, and it got me thinking in other terms about that sort of shit. Like, it's about the angle. If you get the right angle, the right edits, you don't need a lot of locations necessarily.
Moreover, restriction is the blood life of the creative.
Facts.
The less you have to work with, the more you have to be creative.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I know that from just even doing music. Like, when I had very little equipment, and I did not have the capability to do some of the stuff that my creativity was begging for me to do. So I had to figure out, I still want to do it though.
Yep.
So what do I need to do with what I have to do that shit? And it may have took a little longer. And of course, the result wouldn't have been as polished as if I had the more advanced, updated, expensive equipment, but it still came out dope. And I learned from it. One of the things is, that's one of the things we were talking about earlier when I said about sometimes having all of this stuff discourages you. It discourages your creativity, because you got so much you don't even know where to fucking start. Now, I've been wanting to have this shit this whole time, and now I have this shit, and I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's a real thing.
And that's pretty much where I exist in both of those worlds. The fact that having this amount of stuff discourages my creativity at times, and other times, once I do one thing that came out, oh, that's polished, that's dope, it makes me want to do other shit around that. So, to that point, we doing a music video for Same Energy.
Okay.
And we can kill a couple of birds with one stone.
I think I want to update my verse too.
Yeah, refresh it.
Yeah.
we can kill a couple of birds with one stone because we can
Word.
do some parts of it at that damn park that Shafril is always going
That's
on
a
about.
fact.
And it's open wide spaces. Not
Yeah.
allowing, people, you know what I'm saying, there. So we ain't
Yeah.
gonna, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You ain't gotta worry about people.
People
For several reasons why
for
we
several
wouldn't be
reasons
worried about
right.
people during this time.
You disease
Pandemic reasons.
ridden apes.
Pandemic reasons, working reasons,
Yeah.
social
Away,
reasons,
distraction reasons. They're not there to distract. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. No, you're right.
Sounds like
You're absolutely right.
But yeah, that is that's pretty much what my week has consisted of. I am going to just a couple more things attached to that. I'm definitely going to get a lens that allows a wider angle lens that allows for better landscaping and shit like that. For one reason, of course, for the creative stuff that we do.
Right.
It's good to have a lens. 24 is cool, but I can get a 10 millimeter to 10 to 18 millimeter one.
Right.
And that's, but and of course a gimbal, gotta get some gimbals because it's necessary for what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely excited about that. I'm excited about doing that and getting this shit together. And the only downside is that shit is closed, so we will have to, once again, the restrictions.
Guerrilla.
Yeah. There are literally other places, and me and SBJ have gone to some dope ass spots where ain't a lot of people around there, and it's fire, So
Thanks.
All of that's going to come into play. But that's where my week has been at. Also, I've never more wanted to move out of the country, but
I mean, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah, we're gonna get.
That's gonna come into gonna come into play with some of this, some of these topics. Have you seen the information about the Canon R5 and R6?
A little bit of it. I watched the Peter McKinnon video.
Yeah.
That shit,
bruh. Listen,
yo, that shit.
Listen,
4K at 120 frames per second.
Listen to me clearly. Listen. Depending on what happened with some other stuff,
right,
will determine which one of these I go for.
Right,
because one of them is the. I don't even see the way Canon usually does stuff. Is they usually, if they release a camera anywhere close to each other.
Facts.
The lower tier one is crippled.
Facts.
Completely crippled.
Facts.
And they didn't do that this time.
Yeah.
So it's technically lower tier, but for my purposes,
that's an upgrade and a half.
Completely, without question.
And see, I looked at,
and it's full frame.
It's full frame. Yo, I think I went and peeped the price on it.
I didn't get a chance to say nothing to Shafro yet. One of them is 2,500. The other one is like 37.
Yeah.
No, something like that. Something
in that range. Yeah.
Listen.
You just need a body. You get the body. You got the lenses.
Yeah. When I saw them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Where have you been all my life?
Yo, this is how you know those cameras are the shit. So when I watched the Peter McKinnon video, I didn't watch that shit on my phone or on my computer screen. Now, for those of you that aren't as tech savvy about resolution and shit like that, it is a complete different. Like certain things are certain screens are optimized certain ways. So a phone screen is optimized. Depending on what brand you have, whatever, it's optimized to get the absolute best out of a picture or a video. So sometimes that screen and all of the tech that's in that screen and software is doing a lot more than the actual video that was shot originally.
Yeah.
And you can tell that if you got a smart television or something like that, go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and look at some of the videos that are shot in 4K or whatever. You can tell that all 4K is not created equal. all 1080p is not created equal. And your television will show you that, because you'll see, if you go get a 4K television, you'll see what stuff that was made for 4K on television look like. And then you'll see other shit and it looks a little different, right? When I watched that video on my television, it still looked amazing. Like,
absolutely,
it looked amazing. So yeah,
absolutely.
I saw that, and I said to myself, I said, damn it, because had I known about these beforehand, that's what I would have probably put in that budget.
Facts.
I probably would have put those in the budget.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, because there's no reason. Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
But speaking of cameras, so I was supposed to do my first shoot of the year.
Damn.
Tomorrow. At this point, I still am. But talk about pain in the ass, man.
Do you refer to this as your Rona shoot? Is that what's going on here?
I mean, no.
But
it's one of my coworkers for her birthday. This is somebody who I am freaking exposed to anyway.
Right.
And I'm going to be messed up. She can shoot. Because I don't know if you remember, I had the conversation with one of the models that I work with, like when this whole shit was like in the thick of the lockdown.
Yeah.
And she like, let's shoot. And I'm like, no. It's a little bit different now. Not as far as where the virus is. That's clearly, we've clearly screwed the pooch on that one.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as restrictions, it's a little bit different now. And I am going to continue to stay away from people and wear my mask.
Facts.
So,
Facts.
If I'm fairly certain she's not going to have a mask on because she's taking pictures for her birthday.
Yeah, pretty sure that would defeat the purpose.
I'm pretty sure that would defeat the purpose. So
unless she was cosplaying.
I mean, listen,
or Melina,
I'm firmly with her keeping the mask on, having some type of designer mask or something like that. Yeah. I'm with that, but I highly doubt she is. Yeah. But it is what it is. That's her. Hey, right. Her prerogative.
Right.
But just getting to the point where it's confirmed and planned is just like has
pain in the ass.
Oh, because. Me being nice, I do this with everybody I know personally. Not everybody. If I like, shut up. If I like you, I try to be a little more fluent with the planning and everything. Like, if this is strictly business, number one, I need that deposit.
Facts.
A while ago.
Facts.
Like I need a deposit a while ago. The deposit locks in your date. You're supposed to come up with the location.
Yeah.
And a couple other things. And it's like those I don't really do that with people that I associate and have a good rapport with, simply because I have a good rapport with them.
Right.
At least the first time. The first time will tell me what needs to happen moving forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's one of those people who, if we ever do shoot again, it will be different moving forward.
Right.
Right. It's the day before, and she just texts me like confirming a time. Bro, we had this conversation a while ago.
Yeah, it's not really optimal.
Not at all. Not at all. And then I found out through the grapevine that she got some bad news yesterday. So
you're not. So it's still in the air whether or not.
Until I just got this text, it was still in the air whether or not. Okay. Like we were going to be doing this. Now that I got this text, I know. But again, it's Saturday. It's the day before. But anyway, It is what it is. Anyway, that wasn't even on my list until I just got this text. But so my thing, I will talk about this real quick because I don't really think it's necessary to do a deep dive. They just happen to be a part of a bigger situation that I see going on that I just want to address real quick and get your thoughts on. So Lady Antebellum. If you have no idea who they are, I don't blame you. It is what it is. They're big. They are big, but I don't personally really know anything about them.
Right.
I've never heard a song that I know to be theirs.
Me either.
It is what it is. Well, they came out recently in support of Black Lives Matter, saying that they're going to change their name from Lady Antebellum to Lady A. On the surface, it's like, all right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Why did they decide to change their name, you ask? Well, the word antebellum refers to a time pre-Civil War.
What was happening then?
Oh, some little thing called slavery.
Now I remember.
So basically, they were the living embodiment. Their name, because again, I don't know what they sing about,
right?
But their name was the living embodiment of all of these people defending these Confederate statues and flags.
Right.
It's about our history,
our heritage. Nigga, right. It was 4 years. The Confederacy was 4 fucking years.
Right.
The Undertaker is more culturally relevant.
Yeah.
I've been rapping longer than the Confederacy.
Yeah. That's right. I've been on the internet longer.
That's 4 fucking years.
It is what it is. So that's ultimately a decent gesture. Should it have taken so long? No. But
awareness strikes people at
different times. Right. Yeah. So the issue with it is they go to change their name to Lady A, and there's someone who already has the name Lady A. And it's a Black woman.
Oh.
So what did Lady Antebellum choose to do?
What did she do?
They got a situation where somebody else has the name they want. It happens to be a Black woman, and they decided, oh, we'll let her have it. No, of course not. They're suing her.
That's insane.
Well, here's the issue that I have. Because like I said, what I want to talk about isn't really about Lady Antebellum, but in this case, they actually filed, I don't know if they filed for the trademark, but they actually made the decision to start this movement 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So technically, they have claim to the name preceding her because she has stuff going back 8 years. So that is a cloudy situation because on one hand, they are absolutely within their rights because they started first. Mm-hmm. But if you are really about what you're saying this is about, then why would you be locking a Black woman up in litigation over something that you can change? But on the other hand, how much money have they put into this?
Right.
So it's like, I'm not necessarily bashing them, but I'm not defending them either. Because like they might have put a serious, apparently they already have like merchandise and like the entire rebrand. They've already done all the other stuff, the monetary stuff that they would have to come out their pocket for.
Right.
So changing it to another name at this point is going to be a bit of an expensive endeavor. Yeah. So, y'all can have that. That ain't what I'm mad at. Think about that as you will. Decide on your own. I'm not even going to give my final opinion on that. Mm-hmm. My issue is that I've seen people talking about this, and the constant reply that I keep getting is, ain't nobody asked y'all to do this. We're not getting what we're asking for. And my thing is,
there's some things being conflated here. I see.
Yes, my thing is, Lady Antebellum. I'm using them because this is the topic, the most recent topic that I've heard this with. Lady Antebellum is not responsible for slavery, for Jim Crow, for any of these things that we're actually asking for.
And they also have no power.
They have no power to fix these
anything.
things.
Right. They don't.
So I get it. I understand how this particular conflation is taking place. I get it. I empathize with you. But I would like to say, think a little bit more.
I would like to say, just get off of it, because my thing is, now, as far as Lady A, which could stand for ass, I don't know.
That's a fact.
But as far as they're concerned, there's a word that they need to get familiar with. It's called optics.
Yes,
the optics
facts.
Of this
absolutely
crazy.
Looks horrible.
so I'm just gonna put that over here with that, but directly to the people that are saying it's not. We're asking you for it. You're conflating.
Yeah.
Yes, there are situations, right, that are happening right now where people are literally doing a lot of stuff that on the surface seems nice, but it doesn't really address the issues that we have. So we're going to have to learn how to delineate between the people that have the power to actually change some shit and the ones that don't.
Yeah.
It's like I once said before, people usually protest to get the attention of those with the power to make the change, right?
Absolutely.
These people don't have the power to make change, so this seems like it just adds to the noise, and it's a bunch of extra energy that we could really be using elsewhere. Like, this doesn't. There was, I'm trying to remember this exactly, but there were certain questions that people would ask. This is in the story that I read. They would ask the Buddha certain questions, and the stuff that didn't, he would simply say, "It doesn't further. It doesn't further." That's kind of how I see this. It doesn't further. Like this doesn't. It ain't doing nothing for it, and basically, it's unfortunate that we live in a content-driven society. Because on some hands, I have actually had great experiences with the content-driven society that we live in now, right?
Yeah.
Like the other day, I watched this video from this family that moved from Tennessee or Chicago, I forget which one it was, to the Gambia.
Hold on. Just real quick. I need some clarification on how you're confusing Tennessee and Chicago.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because I'm not sure if the parents are from Chicago initially, but they moved to Tennessee. Then they moved to Gambia. But it was on their daughter's channel, because they have a channel too. But again, I really enjoyed that video. I enjoyed it, even though the quality of the video wasn't that great. But I really enjoyed it, right? So in some ways, the content-driven society I've benefited from and got some enjoyment out of it. But in other ways, it really sucks because people will just focus in on irrelevant shit. And that becomes content.
Yeah.
That you'll see all on Twitter, on other social media sites. There'll be motherfuckers doing YouTube videos about the shit. And it doesn't further. Like, this is not where the fight is.
Nah, I wouldn't say so.
You know what this reminds me of? In the movie Endgame, Avengers Endgame. So they got the portals opening up, and everybody's coming back, ready to get the fight, because this is the main fucking event. Just imagine if there was a few stragglers a mile down the road fighting some jaywalker. Yo, that's not where he's breaking the law. But that's not where the main fight is. The fight's up here. That's kind of.
I would argue
this is.
I would argue it's the same, but the opposite, because there might be some people who this legitimately bothered.
Oh,
and now it's, but outside of feelings,
yeah,
this literally means nothing.
This is not the fight.
No, not at all.
And some of y'all never even heard a single song these people did. Tell the truth and shame the devil. You didn't even know these motherfuckers existed before this, you know.
Absolutely. So it's not like they aren't. And I think I know. I feel like I know why this conflation is happening. I feel like it's because they're white.
Oh yeah,
it's a white people thing.
Yeah, that's first of all, you couldn't even name your band Antebellum. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
But not for them being white. But that's what it is. That's definitely what it is.
Yeah. These white people out here doing everything but what we asked them for.
Except for they can't do what you
they can't do what you like these particular white people can't do what you're asking for.
It's a conflation that they're conflating. Again, I get how this happens. Like you said, I get how this happens. You know, they got their chocolate and your peanut butter. I get it. Sometimes chicken, but this is not it. Like
we can't get mad at symbols and then get mad when the symbols are changed.
Right.
You can't have it both ways.
But see, that's the other thing that pissed me off about all of this too, because like you just said, people saying they ain't doing what they asked for, but that's what they didn't ask for in this case. Like there have been people, there have been people that were asking for the Confederate flags to come down and all that other shit that's been happening, right? There's people that's been asking that for years. I've seen them do it. And what bothers me though is I saw something recently with Lord Jamar on in an article talking about he bad mouthing Black Lives Matter or whatever, because according to him, all this stuff that they got that because of the protests got inspired for a lot of these symbols to come down, the statues and stuff. None of that is legitimate because he thinks they're being controlled by somebody. And I'm sitting there going, every single organization, Black organization that had anything to do with change, with the exception of the ones that are truly grassroots, right? There was people funding them, every single one, and a lot of the things that they got accomplished. Are you trying to give that back?
Yeah.
Brown versus the Board of Education. You trying to give that back? Like all the stuff that they got accomplished, and they were funded by people that was outside of the community a lot of the times. So I think like sometimes, I don't know, man. Like it's what we was talking about before the show started. There's a certain level of disinterest in anything that's outside their bias, and it's like, yo, you do realize there is the ideal, and then there's the real world. And they don't always match up. They don't always match up. Like so
often they don't.
So I'm gonna need y'all to look. Those of you, that's how we do it. Those of you that were already on their top for using that name because you knew what that name was.
This is a win for
that band. I understand you.
Yeah,
focus on it. This was your initial issue with them. You know about. All the rest of you that just heard their name today or the other day when all this shit started, this ain't the fight. Like,
no,
this ain't the fight. Go to this ain't it. This ain't it.
No, not at all. But anyway, all right, let's get into these main topics.
Bird.
Bird watcher not cooperating with investigation into Central Park Karen,
Mr.
Amy Cooper.
Come on, Coop.
The man at the center of the Central Park Karen fiasco has said he will not cooperate with the Manhattan District Attorney's investigation, according to a new report. Christian Cooper told the New York Times on Tuesday that Amy Cooper, 41, has suffered enough since the May encounter that destroyed her career and reputation. Amy Cooper was charged on Monday with falsely reporting an incident in the third degree. On one hand, she's already paid a steep price, Christian told the paper, referring to the criminal charge. That's not enough of a deterrent to others. The avid birdwatcher added, bringing her more misery just seems like piling on. So if the DA feels the need to pursue charges, he should pursue charges. But he can do that without me. He said, adding that greater principles are at stake.
Are they really? Interesting.
In a now viral main video that sparked national outrage, Amy, a white woman, tells the bird watcher he's going to call the cops and tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life. Please tell them whatever you like, Christian, who is of no relation, responds. She is seen taking out her cell phone and telling police, I'm in the ramble, and an African-American man with a bicycle helmet, he is recording me and threatening my dog.
Yeah, she went.
She continues, there is an African-American man. I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. The woman starts to shake and it says, I'm sorry, I can't hear. I'm being threatened by a man in the ramble. Please send the cops immediately.
He's threatening very loudly. I can't hear you.
Amy Cooper, who later apologized for the incident, was fired from her job at the investment firm Franklin Templeton. She is set to be arraigned in October and could face up to a year in prison for her 911 call. So there's an update.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's anything different, but let me read it.
Mm-hmm.
It's another statement from him. Yes, Amy Cooper has suffered enough. Bringing her more misery just seems like piling on. Sure does. She got slammed across social media. Oh, wait. This is an editorial. Okay. Oh, okay. From the same website.
Interesting. New York Post.
Huh. Yeah. Oh, so okay. So these aren't his words. These are the words of the person who wrote the editorial.
Okay.
Sure does. She got slammed across social media and regular media for calling 911 to report that an African-American man is threatening myself and my dog when he wasn't really threatening, just being creepy. How many bird watchers carry dog treats just so they can lure illegally off the leash canines? And she got fired too, as her employer rushed to avoid any spillover bad press. Yet Vance is still charged with her falsely reporting an incident in the third degree, which could bring up to a year in prison. Her arraignment set for October. The case seems beyond iffy. How many 911 calls include similar inaccuracies? And a blatantly political prosecution, though an unemployed woman still might find it impossible to fight the charges. Christian Cooper told the New York Times that she's already paid a steep price, which should be enough of a deterrent to others. Indeed.
Yeah. Okay. So can I just say something real fast?
Who? I'm trying to find his name. There is no name.
Of course not. He punked out. So
post editorial board.
Yeah. Let me just say, you know how many friends, family members I have that have gotten in trouble with the police. They made a mistake. They had jobs, and they get locked the fuck up, and they lose their jobs because once they went to court, it didn't work out well for them. So they wound up going to jail, and they lost their jobs and any apartment that they may have had, and all of the things that you could imagine that would happen when a situation like that takes place. And nobody ever said, you know what? They suffered enough.
No.
That's it. Then when they come home, they have to deal with the indignity, right? Of having this record now, having to be asked that on job applications. So it makes it harder for them to get jobs. And people go, I'm not really fucking with you because you did this. So they wind up getting low wage paying jobs because these are the only jobs that they can get, and they do their best to maybe grow in that company the best way they can. Sometimes they don't. Most times they actually don't. But there are times when they have. And nobody ever said he's had enough. He had enough. So
I ain't heard of it.
So and to answer the question about isn't that enough of a deterrent? No. Bugs Bunny face. No. It's not enough of a deterrent. You know why? I'll tell you why. When something is in the public record that has to do with some sort of charge, that shit sticks. Some embarrassment online goes away. Exhibit A, the bus driver uppercut.
Yeah.
Who remembers
You gonna
that?
learn today.
You gonna learn today. You going to jail now, right? Like that happened a while ago, and yes, it's still in the back of our minds when someone brings it up,
Right.
but it's not something that we focused on a regular basis
at all.
So there's a thing in law called precedent, right? Once something has set a precedent, it starts to cement as the response or proper reaction to what somebody did in the court of law. This is no different in my view. If you start we talk about systematic racism. This is the type of shit that ends parts of it. When you make it illegal for someone to do certain shit. Now it discourages people from doing it because they know there's consequences beyond you getting punched in your fucking face or you being embarrassed online. There are consequences where this gets on your record. You have to actually get in trouble with the system for doing it. Right. Not doing that continues the system, the systematic racism that everybody's supposed to be trying to fight. So it does not help any of us who have ever had the police wrongfully called on us, and then they used the perception of what black males are, or black people in general, against us. So the cops come in hot. I'm 6'1", 240 pounds, bald head with a beard. Most times I'm wearing black, sunglasses. That perception of what my intent is clear to anybody. You can't tell me it's not, because I've walked into office buildings, in stores, on elevators, all of this shit, and I see the reaction. So when somebody weaponizes that perception of us and gets us hurt, harmed, killed, loss of job, loss of being able to take care of our family and all this other shit.
Facts.
Nobody ever says that's enough. So I'm not trying to hear, dude. Now, Coop, I'm going to talk directly to you. I don't know what it is about you and how you feel about the community that you come from that would make you think that the priority would be her feelings, how her life went, when she could have gotten yours taken.
Yeah.
When you could have just been another hashtag. Where motherfuckers could have been out there burning shit up for you. But you out of pocket.
Completely.
Because this is not about you. This is not about what you think was enough.
And it's actually not about her.
And it ain't about her for real. This is about a precedent being set.
Thanks.
Where you can't keep doing that shit to us. Period. Because if you do, there's a remedy for it in the system. And they're going to enforce it, because a lot of times there's laws on the books they won't even enforce, right? So just showing them enforcing that shit goes a long way to that progress that y'all claim you want to see.
Right.
So now I'm not feeling you, Coop. Not feeling you. That shit's dumb. And thankfully, though, in cases like this, a lot of times the state just picks it up anyway. So if the state picks it up, hopefully they will, and they still charge her. Well, they already charged her, but they still give her a penalty for this shit. Good. But it won't be no thanks to him.
Nah.
And motherfuckers was ready to ride for your ass.
Yeah. She might have actually got lucky and for the first time in history picked the right black person.
Yeah.
Huh.
The shit's crazy. And listen, for those that don't know, don't have any experience with this sort of thing. those fake ass tears she tried to bring on, and the fake ass distress in her voice when she talked to those police has gotten many a brother jammed up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and we see this shit all over the place. That one video where the white woman pulled the gun out on the black woman and the daughter. Now I've heard people say, "Oh well, no, they was keeping them from doing whatever, from leaving out." But I've heard two different parts of that story. I also heard when people tried to pull out and almost hit them when they was walking by, and then the woman put her hands like this and hit the car. So listen, if somebody's not paying attention, that I'm walking by and their cars come slow, I might do some shit like that. Like, yo, the fuck is you doing? You don't see me walking over with my kid? The fuck is you doing? So the woman came out there completely overreacted with the whole gun shit. I go, get back. Where is that coming from?
Yeah.
It's coming from a narrative that has been going on way too fucking long. And Chris, you ain't helping. As a matter of fact, from what I read about that story, he wasn't even the one that leaked the video. His sister did it. So shout out to his sister.
Yeah, that's
for understanding the bigger point, the bigger issue here.
Right.
I don't. This shit is one of the many reasons why I want to leave. Hey, yo, I don't have an army. I don't have no. Y'all gonna do this. Y'all gonna engage in toxic fairness, and shit's not gonna get done.
Right. That's not what we need.
Nah,
it's not helpful.
It's not.
It's not helpful.
It's not. It's just not.
All right. Yeah. I don't want to spend any more time on him. So moving on to your boy.
Yeah.
Your boy.
Yeah.
Now, far be it from me to ever gloat about being right. Oh, wait.
You would do that. That's something you would actually do.
Listen, I've never been a fan of, well, all right, let me rephrase this. In general, I do not follow any type of talking platforms of hood niggas.
Right.
I just don't, because there are a lot of things that I don't rock with that
they glorify,
that seem to be inherent in the hood. And again, for people that are just listening, I'm putting air quotes up every time.
Right.
I don't think that there's anything inherently toxic, outgoing about the hood,
especially since we both come from the hood. And
facts.
I was a hood nigga at one point.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
So, but this quote unquote hood nigga has beliefs based in homophobia, has beliefs based in misogyny, and has beliefs based in self-hate. So what do the three of those things stem from? My position is that those three things are connected. They stem from an ignorance and a lack of knowledge about some of these things.
Right.
So I just don't like.
Right.
There are a couple exceptions. Actually, there might not be. I only said that to be fair. There might not be any exceptions. I mean, there are a couple who I might catch every now and then with no regularity.
Right.
But as far as like following them, nah, I don't.
Yeah.
I can't think of one. And that is one of those situations where I'm being prejudiced. And it is because, in my experience, I'm normally right.
Right.
And it usually comes to light one way or another eventually. And Gilly was very much one of these people for me. as far as hip hop history is concerned, I have been a fan of Gilly.
It's just
but-
some of his content you was cool with, but
Yeah.
the other content that allows him to fully, like, it's not, music is restrictive to a certain point. There's only
Yeah,
so many things you're gonna put into a bar, and you can say
Right.
some greasy shit in bars
absolutely.
too. But when you get to have to actually listen to the person's positions on life,
Mm-hmm.
that is
And
far
it-
more in
and it's
depth
like,
than
I
you would
know.
like. Right.
I'm fairly
Showing
certain.
where he-
I don't
yeah.
need. I don't. I'm good. Like when y'all throw clips in the group chat, that makes sense. I'm fine with that,
Right.
Because I know y'all,
And it's
I know where it's
restricted.
coming from.
Right. This
right.
is restricted. Right.
Exactly. I know that if it's on, if they on some bullshit, you're gonna preface
We
it
ain't
with
right.
you know,
We
some
ain't right.
bullshit.
Right. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
but I don't need the access to the unfiltered from that particular demographic
Feel
of
you.
content creator.
Feel you.
I've never felt the need to do that. And like I said, even people who I've been fans of in other arenas, it's just
Right.
I know that these things are different. I know that everything that you say in a song may not be true.
Right.
Even if you aren't one of those people that's fronting, there's a certain creative license
Exactly.
because it's art.
Right.
Once you get to a situation where you can give your thoughts on everyday life, and you have done nothing to assuage me of the idea that you're again, quote unquote, hood nigga.
Right.
I'm kind of cool off that. I'll watch your highlights when they pop up somewhere else.
Right.
But like,
You're
if
not
Luda put
following.
out a podcast, I would watch that.
Right.
Because that's not his overall image.
Right. It's not how
That's
he
just
presents. Right.
Yeah. T.I.
I'm gonna get into that too. The
Yeah.
presents.
T.I. Yeah. I've never watched an episode of Expeditiously.
Keep going. Hold up. Keep going.
I've never watched an episode of Expeditiously because T.I.'s a little bit different. With T.I., I know for a fact that a lot of his, I ain't gonna say a lot, but I know for a fact that certain of his beliefs are rooted in misogyny and homophobia, because you've heard him speak in ways that confirm that. Least among them, not least among them, the whole fiasco with him checking his daughter's hymen. Like, nah, B, that it's completely rooted in ignorance, mainly because you have no idea what a hymen is and the various ways that it can be broken or not broken, and how they are not directly necessarily related to sexual intercourse. But I digress. We talked about that a lot. But these, in general, like I've never been, well, all right, to be fair with Boosie, I was never a fan of his music either, but I was absolutely never going to like follow him on Instagram so that I can listen to him talk. Why? I've absolutely no reason, no desire to hear Boosie's thoughts on life. Nothing about Boosie's music or anything about Boosie's like his Boosie's interaction with anything in life made me believe that me watching his Instagram would be beneficial to me in any way, shape, or form. So let me see. That's T.I., that's Boosie. Who else? Meth. I gave Meth a chance because I figured that most of it would be focused on battle rap itself,
right,
which has those problems as well. But again, it is an art, and I actually had talked about this on the podcast that I just put up with Eddie, and I'm not going to promote it right now because I'm going to promote it later. Where an article, not an article, a tweet from a Black woman author, and she said something to the effect of, we are all complicit to a certain extent
Mm.
of taking joy from mediums that also have problematic things in them.
Facts. That's a fact.
And we justify that by ignoring it. Not like ignoring it in your life,
Mhm.
but like if you're of a certain maturity level, you understand that this isn't something necessarily
You
that
can
you should be
separate.
parroting.
You can separate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a whole nother conversation that I actually got into that conversation on Facebook. That could have went into my week, but neither here nor there. So I say all that to say I am 0% surprised about this thing from Gilly. Like
Right.
0%.
Right.
Like when you sent it, I was like,
damn.
I still was upset.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I wasn't surprised. Like,
right.
Matter of fact, I got the clips. We going.
Yeah.
We.
I want to say a couple things about it before we go into the clips.
Yeah.
So, and I've thought about this ever since I heard the other day. The one thing I am not going to, you're never going to see me do, right, is misrepresent what he said. Because I don't need to. I don't need to misrepresent anything he said, right, to dispute and show that his narrative is just bullshit, right?
Right.
But for the record, I was a fan of Gilly. Not even really so much of music.
Yeah.
Because he reminded me of people I grew up with.
Right.
So when I would see him on his little antics up there, it reminds me of the shit, the type of shit we used to do before we grew the fuck up, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was a fan of him. Also, Gilly is a real nigga. Now, for those of y'all that need an explanation of what that is, because it varies. There's nuance to that. Basically, it means that he's about what he say he about.
Right.
And whether from a street perspective, when he was doing dirt in the street, he was known. He has a reputation in his city. Does he have his enemies? Of course, but if you don't have enemies, you haven't really been doing anything.
I mean, Beanie knocked him out.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that type of thing, right? So the issue is, though, this is why one of the reasons that what he said was bullshit, because it's hypocritical. Because if you present as one of these type niggas, you present as that. You saw how we recently had a little disagreement with Joe Buttons and his crew, right?
Yeah.
When you present as somebody that's out that mob, that's down to do whatever. Now, in Gilly's defense, he has reinvented himself to a certain degree. But the truth is, once you get past a certain age, you have to be able to reinvent yourself if you plan on keeping out of prison or out of the grave. You got to. So he managed to do that. And also, Gilly isn't just one of these shit talkers that don't do anything for the community.
Right.
He does do shit for his community and for the youngins over there. But that's what makes, again, this worse.
Right.
Because you think you were saying something positive, but there's deeper things and issues at play here that is not being addressed. And what you actually did was slander the reputation of almost 47 million people. When you say Black people don't care about Black lives, because I'm pretty certain that's not what you saying. You saying you do care. You're Black. Let me see. I'm thinking some more people. My mom's cares about Black lives. Man, all right. My daughter. Oh, SBJ. You care about Black lives, right?
I do.
So your mom's. How you think your mom's feel about Black lives?
Yeah, I think she cares. Yeah. So I've seen it.
So this fallacious bullshit about Black people don't care about Black lives, when you're actually talking about a
wait. Let me play the clip.
Play the clip.
All right.
So I keep getting the same question. Gilly, you always giving up game. Why you don't get no game on Black Lives Matter? Because I don't get into that. All lives matter. I don't give a fuck if you white, black, blue, purple, brown, tangerine. all lives matter. Y'all want a nigga to go out there head first, tell these motherfucking white people Black lives matter. But my motherfucking black life didn't matter to the nigga that tried to execute me, to the nigga that shot me in my motherfucking wrist, stomach, and my foot. The nigga that tried to have my mama singing It's So Hard to Say Goodbye. My black life didn't matter to that. All the niggas I know been shot by.
Can I tell you?
Now wait a minute.
How
This clip was the one from 4 years ago, right? That got pulled up on Twitter, and that's what he's responding to in the newer clips, right? Is this the one?
Yeah, the second clip I have is the newer one, I believe.
Right. So
No. Hold up. How many years ago? Because it couldn't have been more than 4.
From what? No, it was about 4 because he said on his response when somebody brought it back up in this new climate of what's going on, he said in his response that was something he said 4 years ago. That now the problem with that is you start out your response saying shout out to Black Lives Matter and all some stuff, but then you went right back into
here's my issue.
That shit that you said 4 years ago.
Yo, this is why I can't take him seriously, right? Number one, he's using the white man's rhetoric.
Yes, he is.
I don't care if you black, white, purple, yellow, tan, tangerine. Those aren't colors of people. Shut the fuck up.
Also, he's lying when he says, "Yo, he's outright lying when he says, all lives matter." Right. Because if he'd have had a chance to shoot the niggas that shot him, would all lives would have mattered then?
No, not
right,
at all.
Right. All lives, come on, stop.
The other reason I can't take him serious is he really put out that goddamn stereotype of it's so hard to say goodbye.
Yeah, he did.
Come on, yo. Y'all said my black life ain't matter when that nigga tried to have my mama singing it's so hard to say goodbye. What are you doing?
Also, can we say, so according to you, that nigga that tried to kill you, he's representative of the rest of the 47 million black people. So because he did that, right? Because he did that, that means all black people ain't shit because he did that.
Nah, but hold up. Apparently all black people ain't shit because don't you still to this day make jokes about robbing other black people?
Yes. See, this is my whole point about when you present yourself as a thug, when you present yourself as someone that's capable of, quote air quotations, black on black crime. Somebody piss you off, Gilly. We see it happen all the time. And you go straight into that mode of what you was at one point when crime was your main source of monetary value, right? You go right into that mode where you get extra loud, you get your nostrils start flaring, you start threatening in bully boy mode, right?
Yep.
You in bully, you in that I'm about that ruckus mode, right? So you're gonna sit there with a straight face and say, now, it don't matter till we care about it. But the truth is, you still present. For those of you that don't know this, let me kind of break gangster shit down to y'all. Gangster shit looks different depending on the demographic.
Yeah.
Italian gangster shit does not look like Yakuza gangster shit.
Right.
There are similarities, but overall, the tone is different. It's not the same. Italian gangster shit, Yakuza, Japanese gangster shit, and African American gangster shit does not look the same.
Correct.
Similarities, but they don't look the same.
Yeah.
So when I say you present as gangster, I'm talking about the way African Americans have interpreted that particular scree, that particular mimicry, that particular trope, right?
Yeah.
We present it in a different way. That's how Gilly presents. That's how he presents, especially when he gets irritated. When somebody irritates him, that's how he presents. So you're still most of your credibility that people know you for comes from the fact that back in the day you was down for the black on black crime, right?
Yep. Facts.
Right? Right?
Facts.
That's where a lot of your credibility come from. When you call yourself, I'm a real nigga, we know what that means. We from
know
the hood.
exactly
We
what
know
that
that
means.
means.
We know. Come on, Gilly.
We know what that means.
Yo, so let me play this other clip.
Sure.
And what about my nieces and nephews who half black and half white? Only 50% of their lives matter. And I understand the whole Black Lives Movement. We've been oppressed. We've been done wrong. We do wrong to each other. We do more to each other than anybody.
Again,
So
I told you before, yo, there is something about these type of black people who get off trying to put black people in their place.
right.
Wagging their finger at them. You motherfuckers. Y'all got no room to talk about nobody. Even though the thing that they're trying to get a stop to would affect your black ass.
Yep.
If some shit went down, especially considering how you present. How you present. You present as an overly aggressive,
yep,
black inner city black male.
Yep.
You present in the exact way that a cop would feel like, I'm just gonna go hard because he gonna be I already know he's this way. So I'm not even gonna give him a chance to do nothing crazy to me, even though you probably wasn't even thinking about doing nothing crazy now.
More than likely.
But the way you present yourself to the world, and that's why I said to you, we don't need to misrepresent what he said.
No, not at all.
Or straw man his position.
What he said is what he said.
What he said is what he said, and he doubled and tripled down on that shit. Like the idea that he thinks he understands what Black Lives Matter was about
is laughable.
It's laughable when he says this shit. It's because we've been oppressed, nigga. I'm gonna need you to get into specifics because because
not the same thing.
This is what always happens. You have a certain organizational movement that'll come along to address a certain issue. And that's the issue they're focused on and work on. And the first thing, people who don't understand what that movement is about, try to apply everything else to it. And again, I said this one time before. The shit you worried about, all the niggas that's out there doing the stuff that you say is why we can't criticize or we can't complain about what other motherfuckers fucking us up. Nigga, you know them.
Right.
You hung with them.
No, some of them are products of you.
Some of them was listening to your music while they was doing all the stuff you now saying. You're not rocking with.
And again, you still make jokes about robbing black people.
You still do. You still do it. You still do it. So I'm trying to figure this out because what's happening is, on one hand, I see the good works you do in your community. I see you so no, you're not. I'm not going to put you quite in the same category as the motherfuckers that are just doing this and not doing nothing in their neighborhood, but they wagging their finger. But nigga, you close enough. You close enough because the shit you're saying undermines black people in general with this narrative. It undermines them because it's false. I'm gonna say, I don't care how many times I gotta say this shit, I'm gonna say it as many times as necessary. Black people care about black lives.
Clearly.
You're talking about a subculture. A fucking subculture of criminality that all communities have. I saw this, speaking of this whole dumb shit, I saw this fucking sign that said black people should stop killing black people. So I sat there and looked at that shit and went, y'all don't even realize what the fuck you're saying. Do you? So now my question, the obvious question is, well, who should black people kill?
Right.
Oh, we don't want, right. Nobody should be killing anybody.
Facts.
But you focused in on that. Every time y'all say that dumb crime is crime.
Yep.
Crime is crime. And every community has crime.
Mm-hmm.
Communities that have large amounts of poverty and are impoverished will tend to have more crime.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all gonna miss me with that dumb shit about black people don't care about black lives simply because your black ass, when you got shot, was part of a violent criminal subculture in the black community. And whatever y'all was beefing over, you're not gonna sit here and act like you was helping old ladies across the street, minding your business, doing Boy Scout shit, and this dude all of a sudden out of the blue just shot you.
He just decided to shoot you.
Not with the way you present. Now, there are situations. This is why I don't like that shit about black people shouldn't kill black people. Nobody should be killing anybody. But nigga, let's not act like there aren't situations where you're gonna have to go there to defend your life, defend the life of your friends or your family. That's a different situation.
Absolutely.
So unless you're telling us that A, you got shot for no reason at all, you were minding your business, you wasn't beefing with nobody, you ain't even know the dude, he was some random ass motherfucker that said, I'm gonna shoot him today. Or you were living in that subculture of violence that's in these impoverished black communities.
Mm.
And that's part of the price of admission.
Yep.
I've been shot at numerous times. Stabbed. Guess what I was doing at the time, though? Or before that.
Mm-hmm.
Or what I did after that. I was getting involved with the violent criminal subculture in the black community.
Yeah.
They don't represent everybody there.
Pause for the calls real quick. This she's calling me now.
What, the model? The one that you're
no, the birthday. Yeah.
Wow. What do you think she's calling you for?
Because I didn't respond to her text message yet. I'm busy. Now, when I asked you to confirm this days ago, I didn't get a response for days.
Right.
But you sent me a text message 40 minutes ago, and I didn't respond. And you wanted not the other reason I didn't respond, on top of me being busy, is because she's indecisive. So the first message she sent me was, so tomorrow at 6, 10 minutes later, how about 4? Mind you, I didn't respond.
Right.
So when this entire interaction has learned me to let her talk it out amongst herself first. Because the same thing happened with locations. She said, oh, what about this location? And then before I even responded, well, what about this? I'm like, yo, all right, I'm gonna let you.
Let you rock.
Yeah, when there ceases to be communication with you for a certain amount of time, that's when I respond, because I know that you're done with your process.
Facts.
But anyway, yes, but I digress.
I'm just saying, yo, like, you think you're helping black people by saying that type of shit.
That's the worst part about this.
That's the worst part about it. But you're not helping us by slandering 47 million of us, by saying stupid shit like that. Like, you're not helping us. All you're doing is, once again, giving reasons to them, helping boast their narrative for why they won't change anything in how they act. And we talked about this before. You know who the criminals are in your neighborhood. All of you do. You know it's always the same people. So I hear you sitting up here talking this stuff. Go talk to them. Instead of slandering 47 million people, go talk to the subculture. And this, the amount of black people that actually, percentage-wise, get involved with this sort of thing is minuscule.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got to really break this shit down. That's why I said you running around saying black people don't care is crazy, because you have 47 million black people, the vast majority of which don't commit crimes and definitely don't do violent crimes, right? So then you got to parse that. Where's the majority of the crimes happening? They're happening in impoverished areas. All black people do not live in impoverished areas, right? So now that's an even smaller subset of the people that live in those impoverished areas. So now we're talking about this small amount of people that you say represent, that's what you're saying, represent all the black people. But know what I noticed? These last few months, you had black people out in the street protesting peacefully. Yeah, you had other people doing other shit, but that is what it is. That shit come with the territory, right?
Absolutely.
But there were black people out there that was protesting peacefully. Funny how they don't represent us to you, but the criminal element to you represents 47 million black people. To you. Under his post, I saw some comments from people saying the same thing we say. Yo, when a black person kills a black person, they go to jail. And then I saw this bullshit. Not all the time. All right, yo. So which one of y'all in that comment section that said that shit have the actual statistical amount of how many black people that killed black people that went to jail for that versus how many cops that killed black people unjustly and went to jail with that?
There are very few absolute truths in life. We'll just narrow it down to American citizen life, because it gets even crazier when you expand beyond that.
Facts.
Death, taxes, adequate not listening. That might be it. Like that might be the only absolutes.
Yeah.
Once you go beyond that, everything is a percentage game.
Right.
So when the statement is said that when a black person kills someone, they go to jail, that is a statement towards what normally occurs.
Exactly.
This is not saying that every single black person, because every murder isn't solved.
Right.
It's just, it's not.
Somebody brought that up in there too. One of them that said that because they don't solve the murder. But again, this once again destroys your whole take, because that means the cops are incompetent. So the same people we're telling you are corrupt are also incompetently or don't care enough.
Yeah.
To investigate thoroughly. So again, there's a reason to protest them.
I see the issue here. The issue here is a once wise man who soon lost all his faculties once told me that his wife said, any conversation is like a contract.
Shut up.
Oh, my bad.
Shut up.
Any conversation is like a contract, and the contract is only as good as both sides understanding the parameters.
Yeah, you gotta understand the terms.
You gotta understand the terms. So basically what's happening here is people don't understand when the word all is left out, when you should infer it and when you should not infer it.
Right.
If it's something that deals with the majority, it's safe to not, actually, it's usually safe to just not infer.
Right.
But then you might miss some things, and it is what it is. I understand that. But when it's a majority that we're actually talking about, as in when a black person murders someone, they go to jail. When it's a majority, where it's clearly talking about the majority, it is not safe to infer all.
Right.
Because all fights against the point that you're making. I am making the point that this is usually what happens. When you say black people don't care about black lives, which you just broke down is a minority of black cases.
People. Right.
All should not be inferred, because it absolutely helps that person's case, and that person's case is dead wrong.
Yeah.
Because again, it's a minority.
Right.
And
yo, this shit is so absurd because again, for them, Gilly gonna have to realize that he has accepted certain tenets of white supremacy, period.
Oh yeah.
Because for this small minuscule number of us that commit crimes and violent crimes, even smaller number than that, for that small number of us to do that, you believe that number represents black people. But all the good shit that black people do, that doesn't represent black people. You're invested in the idea that small criminal element represents all black people. Yeah. Do you not realize that when some of these same black folks that have been killed by the police, they have no criminal records and they have no record of any violence. And at the time, they wasn't committing any violent acts.
Yeah.
So they deserve it too. So we can't criticize the police and protest the police because this man who didn't do the shit you're complaining about, he deserves that because black people don't care about black. Please explain. Make this make sense.
There's no way. You can't. You can't make it make sense.
This shit is absurd. And again, once I shall repeat again, like in the last story, this is one of the reasons I'm getting the fuck out of here. Because I saw people sharing his shit. They co-sign it with the shit.
Absolutely.
So you don't see how you're undermining the image of black people by doing that, by spreading that lie that black people don't care about black lives. You don't see that. So if you're saying to me, oh, well, I ain't saying all, then be more specific than what you're saying then. Because they'll take what you're saying, the enemy, the motherfuckers that don't give a fuck about us one way or another and don't care about anything that happens in our community. As a matter of fact, they kind of applaud that shit. They'll take that shit you said to bolster their point.
Yeah.
And since they may come from a demographic that historically has the power, has numbers in Congress, controls the media, controls education in this country, they can amplify your bullshit to the point where it's harmful for the rest of us.
Absolutely.
But you think you said something positive.
Absolutely.
You think you said something positive. You did not say anything. All you did was slander 47 million black people.
This is my issue with people not listening. When this reminds me of Terry, right? When you go on and wax poetic about how you love us.
Yeah.
How are you? I think I said it on here before. The number one step of being an ally is shutting up and listening.
Right.
You have certain things about your life that remove you from the position of the majority of us.
Right.
That means you are an outsider in a sense, and it is now possible for you to be an ally, right? Because if I'm a black man let's use a hypothetical. If I'm in the LGBTQ community, it is not on me to be an ally to the LGBTQ community. I am a part of that community.
Right.
But since I'm not, the prerequisite has been reached for me to be an ally.
Right.
I can effectively be an ally, potentially, depending on how I act in that way.
Right.
So because you are in the financially elite, you now meet the requirements to be an ally.
Right.
You can be an ally if you choose to. The number one step, shut up and listen. Because if people are speaking out about you, it is absolutely possible that they're trying to shut you up or that they hate you. Absolutely possible.
Right.
But that's not the only choice. You could just be wrong.
Right.
You could be being detrimental to what they are trying to do.
Right.
So, Gilly, my guy, be an ally. That's all I'm asking from you.
Of your own community.
Just be an
How
ally.
could you not be? How could you not be aligned with your own community, yo?
Right.
Like I could certainly see. Listen, I grew up in the hood.
Right.
I saw the same type of shit Gilly saw.
Right.
Same type of shit Gilly saw.
Mhm.
And then right around a certain age, I moved up out of the hood. I was a grown ass man though, but a kid. Moved out of the hood. Lived in another neighborhood that was majority black, and none of that shit that was happening in the hood I grew up in was happening, which showed me something, that there are other circumstances and factors involved with the behavior in certain communities and the behavior in other communities. And rather than focus in on that shit, you niggas want to make some morality play that you yourself don't live up to.
Right.
You want to make some morality play that you don't present as. It's clear as every time he's irritated, he goes in on niggas from a threatening standpoint. In other words, you better respect what I'm saying, or it's gonna be some black on black crime going on. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna get me to the point where I don't care about black lives and do something to another black life. Come on, man. That shit is cornball. That shit is cornball. So, like I said, I did follow his Instagram, and I no longer do because. And listen,
right.
That don't matter to him. That man got a million, whatever.
Yeah,
but
he's not gonna notice.
For me, I am done following the content of people that promote white supremacist ideas.
Yeah,
I'm done. If you're promoting some sort of white supremacy,
and
get the fuck out of here.
And then when it's brought to your attention, doubling down.
Right.
Because that's the thing. I know that we are flawed, right? And I know that largely your conscience is formed by people around you just as much as they are your own thoughts.
Right.
So if you've been found to say some or be on some bullshit,
right,
that brings my alert up. How you respond to that determines how we continue.
Right.
When you want some double down shit, all right, I gotta let you go. It just is what it. I just gotta let you go.
Yeah.
If you seem to be remorseful about it, then you're just on high alert.
Right.
I might not let you go immediately, but you're on high alert.
Right. Also, if you look, none of these are permanent states of being. Just like there's no such thing as somebody that is a permanent ally. You are that through actions,
yes,
through behavior, and when that behavior and those actions change, you are no longer that. Right.
That is it.
There might come a day when Gilly looks back on the shit he says.
Oh yeah.
And goes, God damn, I was missing the point. God damn, I was slandering 47 million black people for the things that a small percentage of them do. And to remind you guys about what that percentage is, actually. All right. Over 2 million blacks were arrested in 2017. 2 million were arrested. Only 5,025 of that number were arrested for murder. So that's 0.25% of all blacks that were arrested was arrested for murder.
Right.
And put it in perspective, that 5,025 of the 47 million is only 0.01%.
Right.
So there might come a day when you look back on the shit you say if someone can find a way to actually communicate to you in a way that you would listen, that you would see how problematic it is to paint 47 million people for the behavior and actions of 0.01%. You might be able to see that one day.
Right.
And then it is, because listen, I used to say some of the same stupid ass shit. Because I ain't know no better. But in the meantime and in between time, I can't really fuck with your shit like that no more. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I can't do it. I ain't gonna.
And this is another thing where that goes with the whole facts and feelings thing. Do black people need to stop killing black people? Of course. That's not anybody's argument. Nobody's argument is, oh no, we can keep killing each other. No, that's nobody's argument. However, it should not be a prerequisite to be treated like humans.
Right. And especially considering this is the other thing I got to say to all of you wishing well motherfuckers. Right. Please name for me a time, any time in the history of humanity where humans weren't killing each other. Because see, there's the ideal and then there's the reality.
There's the reality.
So again, crime is crime. Murder is murder. It doesn't make it any more or less bad if it's two black people killing each other, two white people killing each other. Black person killing a white person killing the black person. But every time you approach this narrative with this shit about blacks shouldn't be killing blacks, the other logical question is, well, who should they be killing?
Right.
And if you say, well, they shouldn't be killing nobody, that's the answer. Nobody should be killing anyone. Now that's the ideal, right? That's the ideal. Yeah. But that's not the reality. And my question when they bring up the numbers, the percentages. So what percentage should it be? Because we agree that nobody should be killing anybody, but don't we also agree that that's not really a thing that's going to happen?
You know what's funny? I would allow a standard deviation of 1%.
Okay. Dope. So that means all of us need to work on that. Because if it's 93% of all blacks that get murdered are murdered by others blacks,
right? We
need to get, what you said, 1%?
1. Yeah, 1.
We need to get that down to 1%, which means the white community got to get theirs down to 1% too. Theirs is at 84%. Murder is murder. Stop telling people, black people should stop killing black people when you should be saying nobody should be killing anybody.
Right.
No, stop it. Nobody should be killing anybody. And can we also discuss the fact that violent crime is on a 50-year low? So I see you motherfuckers. I see y'all. I see you. You'll take a certain incident, like he brought up in his thing about there was a shooting in Chicago over the weekend. 100 people got shot. Not 100 people got killed. 100 people got shot, right? I see you. That this y'all don't understand how trends work though.
Right.
These things that happen here are bad. That's terrible. That's absolutely horrible, right? But there is a 50-year trend where violent crime is going down. Look it up. So I see y'all out here, once again, trying to embellish shit. Obfuscating, trying to embellish shit. Trying to make, and what did I say last time before? There are a certain segment of the population, regardless of color, that seem to be invested in making the black community look worse than what it is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. With zero doubt or question in my mind.
Yeah, so I see you embellishing shit. 50-year low.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right. I'm done beating up on Gilly. Next, we got to talk about Clarence. I mean,
Jamal Clarence had really good parents.
They had a really good marriage. A really nice marriage. Yeah. Nah, we got to talk about Sam. Oh, wait. That's not his name either. Anthony Mackie. All right, let me play this first clip from my man Mac.
The Maxter.
It really bothered me that I've done 7 Marvel movies now. every producer, every director, every stunt person, every costume designer, every PA, every single person has been white.
Mm-hmm.
We've had one black producer. His name was Nate Moore. He produced Black Panther. But then when you do Black Panther, you have a black director, black producer, you have a black costume designer, you have a black stunt choreographer, you have a black, and I'm like, that's more racist than anything else. Because if you only can hire the black.
All right, so first of all, I want to say I'm tired of you motherfuckers that are releasing to the internet these interviews with this horrible audio because we have a reputation of fucking up.
Facts.
And we are not fucking up.
Right.
It is not us.
Right.
In this case, Anthony Mackie was on a Zoom interview with one of the stars of the Hamilton play, Daveed Diggs. Speaking of which, go check out Let's Discuss Disney Plus, the podcast with me and Adequate. We just did an in-depth review on Hamilton because it just came Disney Plus. But anyway, I digress. He was doing a Zoom interview with him, and his Wi-Fi was acting up. So that's why the audio keeps cutting in and out.
Right.
So basically what he's saying is, and I want to give a small correction. He probably just misspoke. Not every stunt person, because that's not possible. He was talking about stunt
coordinators.
Coordinators, yes.
Yeah.
So basically to reiterate what he's saying is, cool, to set up the framing of what they were talking about when he said this.
Right.
Daveed was bringing up everything going on right now.
Right.
And he was saying it's an interesting position to be in, being a celebrity when this type of stuff is going on, because you don't want to come across as being craven.
Right.
You don't want people to look at this and you say something and think that it's because you're trying to get attention or something like that.
Right.
So he was like, what he does is he tries to participate in the movement in the things that he's doing.
Right.
So if he is the lead of, I forget the show, Snowpiercer or something like that. It's a show.
I know show.
I think it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah. He's the lead. He's one of the leads, and he was like, I just try to make sure I'm one of the leads of this. All right. So next season, we need to have more this person or that person either in front of the screen or behind the scenes.
Right.
We need to have more of this next time we come back to do this.
Right.
Because you need me. You need me, and this is my way.
So
I'm
gonna use my leverage. Right. So he asked Anthony about that, and Anthony brought up Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He was like, I'm going to be a lead now. So he was saying the thing about these movies is every other movie except for Black Panther, majority behind the scenes, it's white. Right.
And it's it's kind of more racist for Black Panther to have everybody behind the scenes be black. And that's the only place that any black people are used.
Right.
And this is a discussion topic that I had never considered before.
Well, maybe because you didn't really know the inner workings of what the cast, the people that actually work on the
that's
crew.
never been said to me.
It's never been said. But the reality of the situation is he's right. And for those that would say, oh, well, he's taking advantage of the climate, I would say good.
Well, he was asked a question.
He was asked a question, and he told his honest opinion about it.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons that these conversations are being had, and for the record, I've said this before too on other threads on social media. If something fucked up happens to me, if the police wind up killing me unjustly, use my death for whatever you
For
need
everything.
to get whatever progress forward you need.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving blanket permission right now, and now I'm glad I'm doing it now on this because this is recorded here. If
Right.
something happens to me,
Same. Yeah.
use it for whatever you need to push the movement, the community forward.
Absolutely.
I don't give a fuck. All right.
Yeah.
In fact, I encourage it. Do that.
Like if I'm riding on my way to work and somehow hit a police officer, little fender bender, and end up getting killed for that interaction, and y'all want to use that to fight for like better education in schools,
do it.
Go ahead.
Do it.
All of it.
Because I'm getting real sick of motherfuckers coming at this situation where you like, so with the whole George Floyd thing, oh, but that ain't had nothing to do with so
It matters nothing.
Look, sometimes it takes one thing to happen to open the door a little bit, and we use the crowbar to get the rest of it open.
It's very simple. We have the attention now.
Yeah, so use it for whatever it is. Y'all need to use it.
As long as we're making progress.
As long as we're making some progress, use whatever. But he's right. And again, he's not saying that Marvel and them are maliciously racist.
I'm glad you said that.
He's not saying that. He's saying that y'all, this is the accidental shit that we be talking about. Y'all have completely overlooked that. You don't even think in those terms.
Right.
Because systemically,
it goes back to what I was saying about interpersonal versus systemic. I don't care about interpersonal right now.
Right.
That's not what I'm on right now. This is a situation,
that doesn't affect
systemic.
That doesn't affect the vast majority of people.
Right.
Systemic stuff does. So we're going to address that right now, because what happens is y'all trying to use the interpersonal shit to undermine fixing the systemic shit.
Yes.
So Anthony's not wrong, and they do need and the fact of him using his position as the lead to do
that's what you're supposed to
that's
do.
what you're supposed to fucking do.
Guess what? If you want to call this opportunist, see, I hate, I've talked about this before. I hate when we apply connotations to words.
Right.
Instead of using the word for what it is and using the context around it to determine whether the connotation
is good or bad.
should be.
Right.
If the situation is someone was murdered by the police, which then resulted in nobody being charged, which then resolved in protests all over the world, which then resulted in attention being put on the injustices that certain people have to deal with, and then that coincides with Anthony Mackie getting cast in a bit part in the Avengers, which he did a great job at, which led to him getting more screen time, which led to the natural conclusion of the comics of Captain America passing on the shield, which led to him getting a starring vehicle on Disney Plus, which has just released last year or so, and they need everything they can to try to keep this momentum going. And he has this starring vehicle that happened to finish wrapping and happens to be coming out relatively soon.
Facts.
Perfect.
It is what it. Listen,
perfect.
I see leads on shows. You've seen the whole stereotypes. Leads on shows will use their leverage to get a certain type. Make sure that a certain type of food is always in their trailer. A certain type of thing.
Melting fresh spring water.
I need a masseuse. So I feel like him using that status and that position to do something to help other people.
Well played, sir.
If y'all gonna sit up here and complain about the excess of celebrities and how just gauche and luxurious their shit is for no reason, using their position for that, and then he used his to help other people. And you gotta complain about that.
You tripping.
You're tripping. You're absolutely bugging. You're absolutely bugging.
Here's the thing. big companies, this is a form of what big companies do all the time.
Yeah.
Big companies negotiate in public all the time. The difference here is he made no threats.
Nope.
So there's no reason for them to push back.
Nope.
As a matter of fact, Anthony, I can't remember if it was Anthony or Joe, but one of the Russos had an interview recently, and they were asked about his comments. And you know them. Oh, yeah, he's right.
Right.
Yeah, he's absolutely right.
Right.
I would love to see that change be made.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have the star, the lead or co-lead of one of your biggest projects that you've ever done.
Right.
And the directors of the other bigger projects that you've ever done.
Facts.
All saying to you, this is something that needs to be addressed.
Right. Right.
And when you combine that with the fact that regardless of if they've gotten it right or not, this is what Disney's been on for the last couple years anyway. They don't always get it right. They don't.
He basically made them aware of a blind spot.
Exactly.
And now they can do something about it so that criticism no longer applies anymore.
Yeah.
And,
all right. So he has a part two to what he said. And I want to play that because I want to talk about that a little bit.
All right.
So, all right.
Mm-hmm. You know, if we got to divvy it as a percentage, divvy it out.
Right.
At least for here. And that's something, you know, as artists, as leading men, that we can go in and push for and push the envelope.
So basically, what he's saying is, because the audio is a little messed up. In the big right leading up to this, he said, if that means you have to find the two best women, then you have to go find the two best women.
Right.
If you got to go find the two best men, you got to find the two best men.
Right.
Basically, what he was saying is, if you have to consider your entire crew for behind the scenes, and you have to divvy up a percentage of what type of different demographic you want to add,
right?
You don't do it because of the demographic that they exist in.
Right.
You find the best of that
demographic. Right.
That's it.
That's it.
And it doesn't have to necessarily be done like that, but he's just giving an option. This is one of the ways you can do it. I'd be fine with that because that'll lead them, even if you keep them on for one project,
you'll get the result.
That will open doors for them.
Now they got that on their resume. Now the possibility of doors opening in other parts of that industry. Hold on. Keep going.
So my thing is, I don't. Let me talk about the percentage model. I don't know what percentages you would use. Tim and I have had a conversation on here at the end of one of our episodes, a hypothetical conversation about doing things based on percentage. And we both agreed that it was something that would have to be done very meticulously in order to be successful. So there's that. But we also were talking about situations of power, and this isn't necessarily one of those things. So this would require a little less planning out than that situation would. So like I said, I'm just not against it. I don't really have an issue because I love and enjoy finding out, knowing. When I go to get information on a certain movie or show and I happen to see somebody's name that I'm familiar with, it kind of excites me, and it leads me down this rabbit hole of finding out whatever else they were, participating in. So if you go, for example, my man, Ryan Coogler.
Mm-hmm.
He has a very short but powerful filmography, and one of the things that he has chosen to do, I don't know if this is because they knew each other. I don't know if they know each other before this, but one of the things he's chosen to do is basically, for the most part, bring Michael B. Jordan along with him. Michael B. Jordan is in at least 3 of the movies that Ryan Coogler has directed, as some sort of lead.
Right.
So, this is the type of thing that can
what the deal
breed.
is with that though. And that's very common with directors. You'll see that with Scorsese. You'll see that with Tarantino.
Absolutely.
They get accustomed to working with certain people and they always use them.
Yep. This is my guy. This is my girl. This is what we rocking with. You don't got time to do it? We might actually postpone. We might push this back until you're available.
Right.
Or if you don't got time to do it, who do you recommend I use?
Facts.
So one of the things that gets left out in these conversations a lot is nepotism. The issue is it goes back to systemic racism because nepotism is based on who you know. Who are you more likely to know? The people who you grew up with, the people who did things that you did as well. So if you happen to be white and you happen to have if you happen to be white and be a little bit ahead in life as far as your financials are concerned, then that's going to lead to a domino effect. If you make it, that's going to lead to a domino effect.
Right.
Of a bunch of other white people that come from a similar background as you being elevated to these positions. And that in itself is not inherently an issue. The issue is it starts with an opportunity. And when opportunities are limited for other people, you've now shut down an entire potential generation of people that could be rising to a certain status or a certain amount of power in a certain field.
Right.
And it screws everything up.
Yep.
But it is what it is. I don't know. I'm riding. I'm backing Mackie.
You're backing Mackie?
Because like I said, if you want to call it opportunist, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, again, listen, that opportunity shit is funny because when I got that performance in front of those 30,000 people and I knew that shit was coming, my opportunist says, put an album out.
Facts.
And released it so I had something to sell.
Facts.
You know, I'm an opportunist. Is that negative?
No.
Exactly. So just because someone's an opportunist don't mean they're being an opportunist in a way that's negative. And
you're supposed to take advantage of the opportunities presented to you.
You absolutely are. You absolutely are.
That is how you get ahead. That is like dictionary. How you get ahead.
I don't know any other way to do it.
Right.
What's the other way to do it?
Nepotism.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
so
true.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's a thing, but it's a thing that still isn't free from the issues of systemic racism.
Right. Because again, with nepotism, if a certain demographic of people were kept from everything that the society would offer that would allow them to put themselves in a position to be considered for certain things.
To know these people.
These people. Right.
Some of it is people that are in your family. Okay, of course. Who's the people in your family going to look like you? Literally.
Right.
Then who you went to school with? Well, if you have access to the better schools, then you have a better chance of being in one of those people.
Facts.
All right. Who worked at a different company with you? Again, if these people meet these companies' qualifications, which sometimes is tied to their schooling,
right?
It's all connected. So it is what it is. You have to. The creators have not creators. The people in charge have to make a conscious effort to somehow split between nepotism and meritocracy.
Right.
And the issue there is it's a completely selfless act. Right. That's the problem.
Right.
The problem is you aren't necessarily a bad person for being selfish in this way. Like, it doesn't automatically make you a bad
No,
person.
exactly.
If you went through theater school and you are a director, you are probably going to tend to work with some of the people that went through that same theater school when you went through that theater school.
Absolutely.
If they happen to be white and you're white, then you're creating, again, a chain effect. And everything just connects. Everything just connects. But let's go to the point of the episode where we're not talking about celebrities. We're not talking about stories, even though this technically is. What up, sis? What up, sis?
What up, sis?
I mean, this isn't necessary. I mean, the story has gained traction. It is.
Or says she's late, but she don't have a note.
The story has gained traction. I have no way of gauging, and that's a part of the issue. I have no way of gauging how much traction.
Right.
Right. I don't even know where to start with this shit. All right, so I'm about to fuss.
You're about to fuss?
I'm about to fuss. It is what it is. Generally, my fussing is reserved for celebrities. But in this case, it has to go a little bit deeper.
Oh, it doesn't really fuss the rhymes.
I mean, okay, that was terrible. But now I feel better. Because that was so terrible that it put me in an even worse mood. So now I feel justified in what I'm about to do.
You're welcome.
Whatever, nigga. So this idea, there was an idea.
Okay.
And the idea was, matter of fact, I'll start from the beginning. Basically, the idea is we want certain things to change in this country, right? Even those of us who eventually want to leave, we still want certain things to change in this country.
Everybody's not going to leave, and I would
everybody's
prefer.
not going to leave.
Right.
Everybody not going to want to leave.
Right.
Like for
Some of us
whatever
care
reason.
about the diaspora. Some of us actually care about the diaspora.
Absolutely. So even though if things go our way, these things won't necessarily benefit us. They'll still benefit people who look like us.
Yeah, facts.
And, all the other type of stuff. So basically, we want change. America is a capitalist society. What is the best way to make changes in the capitalist society? Effect capitalism.
Yep.
So boycotts come to mind. Well, boycott is a very powerful tool when used correctly, when used properly, when planned properly.
Right.
So since George Floyd's murder, I've heard this conversation ratchet up. Because it's always murmurs of this conversation for the past, as long as I can remember going back.
Yeah.
But, of course, like many other topics, this one ratcheted up after that happened. And great. Because the more of us that are aware of certain things that need to be changed, the better.
Right.
The higher our chances get of us actually being able to affect change.
Right.
So a group materialized. And I'm not even going to specifically name the group because my policy as far as this goes is anything black that doesn't seem malicious.
You give them deference.
Try to talk about it without attacking the entity.
Yeah.
So some of you that hear this are going to know exactly what group I'm talking about. That's fine. I'm not trying to hide the group. It's just that I'm not going to, my intention is not to tear down the people involved with this.
Right.
That's not my intention. It's going to sound like it. I ain't gonna hold you. It's absolutely gonna sound like it. I'm using this to preface what I'm going to say because I'm aware of the optics of how this is going to look.
Right.
But it is what it is. So many boycott thoughts were bubbling because again, there was a groundswell, and it is what it is. That's what happens with ideas. When you get an idea and it spreads, it starts to mutate, and different people have different takes on what should happen and everything. When there's no organization, I mean, even when there's organization, there are different thoughts on what should happen. But
Facts.
when there's organization, you can actually like maneuver and structure it and push it in a certain direction.
Right.
So I come across this group that, because of the name, I kind of actually misread the name when I first joined it. So I thought it was just a group for Black people where we can, like, a place that we could have.
You can go black out.
Yeah, I mean, but again, God damn it, I can't say what I was about to say because that's gonna. Anyway, so I joined this group and I found out that one of the ideas for boycott that I had seen previously somewhere was one of the goals of this group. And in general, I'm like, all right, cool. But specifically, I'm like, y'all picked the absolute worst one.
Yeah.
The absolute worst idea out of all the ideas that I've heard at that point.
Yeah.
Y'all picked that one to go off of. So at that point, I'm kind of like tired because I'm like, all right, their intentions, they seem to want the right thing. They just don't know.
They don't know how to go about
and
it.
I ain't going, you know, I ain't gonna bash them for that because
Facts.
you try and get somewhere. But then I start putting pieces together and realizing this group was over 1 million strong. So I'm like, all right, you over 1 million strong. That's a little bit of power. I mean, it ain't about to shake no boats, but we start to get the small ripples.
Right.
Like if you were skipping rocks or some shit.
Facts.
Start to get that.
People.
And that's how it starts. So, all right, cool. Well, their idea was the whole Blackout Day 2020. I'm sure you've heard of it. Was a July 7th blackout.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me mention it was the second dumbest idea of boycott. Let me mention the dumbest one.
What was the dumbest one?
The dumbest one was not spending money on July 4th. So the issues with that, I'll only name the issues with that have nothing to do with the issue with the Blackout Day 2020. Right. The biggest issue with that is, name me one holiday that makes the lion's share of their profits on the holiday.
I can't think of one.
Because that's not how that works.
Oh, wait a minute. I do have one. My birthday.
No.
Oh, damn.
Maybe things like Cinco de Mayo. Okay. Maybe. But that's relatively small in comparison to the amounts of holidays that have been commercialized in the United States of America.
Yeah, sure.
You have Easter, Christmas, 4th of July, Memorial Day, all these things. Again, they make most of their money leading up to the holiday because the celebration is on the day of. So boycotting Independence Day on the 4th of July is literally fruitless.
Yeah.
Sure, there are places there are people that are, scragglers and they spend some money on that day, but most places are closed on that day.
Right.
So it's just the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. And the fact that there were so many people going like in different places going with that idea was like, what? So y'all really don't understand it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna save that because that applies here. So this idea was July 7th. Why July 7th? This is my first clue that this was turning into a cult.
Oh, fuck.
I asked that question in the group. Why specifically July 7th? Now, part of this is potentially on me. The answer that I got was from a bunch of people. Go look at the units. For anybody that doesn't know, units are a thing in Facebook where, in this particular case, there's a list of videos that explain what the group is about and all that type of stuff. So my initial thought was, I looked at the units. I saw no mention of why July 7th was chosen.
Right.
But I went back and watched some videos over again. Still didn't find it. But again, that could be me. But the reason, it's possible. Standard deviation of probably 7% for me.
Okay.
So I'm like, that the reason that's the first sign of a cult is because how dare you question the leader?
Right.
No, we aren't going to tell you what he said. You go find out. I mean, y'all could have easily. None of the videos were more than like 5 minutes. You could have easily typed the answer. Any of you could have, unless you don't actually know.
Right.
I digress. But leading up to it, I wasn't vocal about it because I don't want to negatively influence in any way things that have good intentions. So I wasn't vocal about it before the day. But then the day came. Oh, my guy. So the day comes, and they're like I said, it's a group of 1 million plus people.
Yeah.
And those people, again, I have no way of knowing how many of them, but some of those people I absolutely know were sharing it outside of the group.
Right.
It got to Vans, the tennis company. It got to them. They made a statement on their website. It got some decent coverage. It got some media coverage and everything.
There's a million people, so
you got some media coverage too, bro. Look at you go. So I'm like, all right, cool. Two things. Again, this is before the day actually happens. Two things. They have good intentions. This is getting buzz. Energy is seemingly going in the right direction.
But it's also shifting.
This isn't going to work, but they could possibly take this attention and transform it into something else.
Right.
So again, I'm not going to speak out against it.
Right.
But then the day comes and goes. And the next day, people are touting success. Now, what were the goals of Blackout Day 2020?
What indeed?
The first goal was do not spend any money. That was the first goal. The amendment was if you do spend money, make sure you spend it with a Black-owned business. Now, on the surface, that seems like a really good idea. Yeah, absolutely. The issue is with the idea of we did that. Did what exactly?
What happened?
Because you've exhibited no proof that anything actually happened because of this.
Right.
They started. The stock market had went down for the first time in a year. No, not a year. A month. No,
could have been
a week.
Yeah.
A freaking week. Amongst the fact that places in the United States were starting to shut down again. On top of that, because my thing that I was going about was somebody explain this to me. Someone explain to me how this is proof that this was successful, because I'm not a financial guru, but I have basic understanding of how economics works.
Right.
And y'all don't seem to. So somebody give me actual evidence. Anyone give me evidence.
You know, earlier when you said you saw signs of it being a cult. This is actually part of it too,
Mm-hmm.
because in their minds, even with this raging pandemic going on in
Right.
this fucking leper colony of a country, right?
Mhm.
And you see motherfuckers not working, stores closed down, people not going out there to the certain places and doing certain activities that require them being around a bunch of people as much as
Mhm.
they would have. They absolutely disputed when you said to them, because it can't be from the pandemic. No, not at all. No. Yo,
Right.
that is cult thinking right there.
Completely.
Yeah.
So it's not a so like you have. Where is the proof that this is not possible? That's you're telling. You're making a claim.
Yeah.
Sure, that's fine. You're supposed to do that in an argument. But when I say to you, where are you getting this from?
Right.
It's also on you to show me.
You have the burden of proof.
Enlighten me.
Now, you can choose to divvy up that labor or not
Yeah.
do it. But
Or
then,
you can tell me about my business.
But then that doesn't really help you with me buying into the
Right.
shit. You know?
Exactly. So it's like, all right. That's the first couple things. There's a pandemic going on and the country is shutting down. So I did a little research afterwards because nobody would actually have this conversation with me. A couple people claimed to want to. Didn't happen. One person sent me a friend request. I accepted it.
Mhm.
And
no facts were brought.
Nothing happened. Yeah, nothing happened. Another person started having a conversation with me. And I'm like, yo, I'm simply trying to make sure that this isn't a situation where we're accepting a hollow victory for no reason.
Right.
There's no actual reason to celebrate. And I'm trying to have this conversation. Nobody actually wants to talk about facts. They just happy that we did that. So I'm like, that guy was like, all right, I'd talk to you. I said, all right, inbox. He never responded.
Of course not.
Then there was another girl that came behind him and said something similar to him. And I'm like, I'm willing to have this conversation with anybody that wants to, but I'm not having this full conversation on these threads because I've seen people blocked for their opinions already.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to message anybody. One girl messaged me. This was a few days ago. Mm-hmm. Let me see. I don't even remember her. Oh, there we go. This was Thursday.
Right.
She still has not read the message. So
wow.
This is the type of stuff I'm talking about. So, all right, cool. I get that. But let's explore further why this was a dumbass idea and there's absolutely no proof of it working. I found out after those interactions.
Really?
Because again, I'm not into stocks and all that other stuff. Like I didn't really have a concrete understanding, which again, as part of what I was doing was looking for why y'all so convinced.
Why y'all so convinced?
Let me in.
Right.
Yeah, let me in. I would like to know. I participated.
See,
I did my part.
As far as letting you in, I've watched movies where that didn't really turn out that great.
Well, sure, I get it. But I shouldn't be that spooky if y'all actually have proof. I shouldn't be that spooky if y'all actually have proof. So, all right, I did some reading on what makes the stock market rise and fall.
That was your first mistake.
I know, right? Because it enraged me beyond anything that I had been upset about before. So it is a complicated thing. It is not. That is why it is a science. It is a very complicated thing. But the gist of it, from layman's terms, of my understanding, my interpretation, and anybody, feel free, hit us up. Let me know if I'm wrong, because we're about evidence. This is my entire issue with this thing.
Yeah,
there's no evidence. So from my cursory examination of why the stock market goes up and goes down, it is not all of it. It loosely boils down to people selling, the demand for people buying and selling shares.
Right.
Which means that any indication from the stock market being proof would be indirect proof, which also means we wouldn't know the day after.
Right. Marissa makes a good, she says, it's also speculative.
Absolutely.
It's also speculative. So y'all
Absolutely.
can't be making these fat claims.
Right.
Like,
so on top of that, let's go back to the goal. Not spend money except if you have to.
right. And if you
Then
have to,
spend it with a
spend with
black-owned business.
business. Right.
Here's the thing about that. If this black-owned business has all their paperwork correct,
Right.
and they're above board and they're legit, the metrics that y'all are trying to use to prove that this work includes reporting from black-owned businesses. So, no. So no. So no, I still have not seen any proof. Now I did see somebody post something about the Dow
Some charts.
From-
I saw that.
from Thursday.
Mm.
That would potentially be more valid proof because the way that I understand how the market rises and falls would line up for it to happen a couple days later.
Right.
But again, that only answers one of the issues that I have with this.
Yeah, because there are actually other questions. Like, you guys have no way of quantifying whether or not the million people in this
Participated.
group actually participated and didn't.
Because if you ask any of the people I had a conversation with about this, they would assume that I didn't.
Right.
They would assume that I didn't participate.
Right.
I absolutely participated. Why? Because, and this goes along with it being so incredibly inefficient of a method,
Right.
it was easy to do for me.
Facts.
I don't have to spend money every single day. So one day of not spending money in the middle of the week,
Facts.
it's not that hard to do, but that's for me in my financial situation. Everybody doesn't have the same financial situation. So there are some people, and I've had conversations with a couple people that shared in inboxes, like, no, they didn't participate because they couldn't.
So that
They couldn't afford to not spend money on that day because of how their lives are set up.
the reality of the situation is when you're in groups like that, especially at that size, and there's some sort of goal that
Peer
everyone's
pressure.
working for, it's peer pressure, but also everyone's not going to do it. Like, we do know that on Facebook, the easiest form of support is to hit like on
Yep.
something or
Mhm.
join the group and just forget about them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there's no way to quantify. They didn't have any system in place to see if people actually did what they said they did. So now you can't even tell the number of people that participated for real.
Right.
And you just basically only have a fraction of the data. You literally have a result, but you don't have a cause. There's no way to prove
Yep.
the cause of that shit.
Absolutely. It's specious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. So all these things, but let's just go to the other reasons why this was a horrible idea. And when I say horrible idea, let me clear that up. I don't mean that it would be like detrimental. Nah, I don't. It's not necessarily detrimental to the cause pre-blackout day.
Mm.
Post-blackout day is detrimental to the cause because it gives you a sense of accomplishment that's
For
false.
no reason.
So that might lower your resolve.
And also, so the one thing I don't understand is when you say this is a horrible idea, you're not talking about the concept, of course. You're talking
No.
about this
the
idea.
implementation.
Because I've told you before
Mhm.
that I really believe that people are asking too much with these things.
Absolutely, they are.
I think it's a lot easier to focus on one company.
Yep.
And say,
That's the move
we don't fuck with you for a month.
for a month. You're
You
getting
don't fuck with
nothing from us for a month. Why is that different? Because that's something that we can track.
Yep.
because we can look up one company's financial reports.
Facts.
We can find that. That's not necessarily easy, but it can be done.
And now we can see the trend line from when we started the whole boycott to when we ended it, and how much money they lost, if they lost it.
Which means there's accountability there, because we don't know individually who participated, but we know a decent amount of a percentage of who participated.
Right.
Because this is a month. We're not talking about
a week, a day.
Yeah, if you chose Taco Bell, and why do we keep picking on Taco Bell? Because I believe we used Taco Bell before. But anyway,
let's use Arby's.
Okay, whatever. But according to y'all, there's no reason to boycott Arby's because nobody eats there.
I mean,
so we got to use somewhere that people eat.
Okay, people do eat at Taco Bell.
All right, so Taco Bell.
Use McDonald's. Fuck it.
Okay, McDonald's. So if we decided that for 30 days we were not going to buy anything from McDonald's,
right?
Not going to patronize them at all,
right?
Again, there will be a way to track that happened. One of the issues with this current plan that, again, I realized before the day came was it's a day.
Yeah.
It's a day. So what happens when you're in a situation, let's take it away from here. Let's just go the general route. What happens that's funny. Marissa said KFC, trash chicken. What happens when you're in a situation where you have something coming up where you're not going to have, you're not going to be available to spend money.
Right.
What do? You spend more ahead of time.
Right.
Or you spend more after that time.
Right.
So one day does literally nothing, because if you're looking at your financial sheets and you're looking at quarterly profits, which is a 3-month period. So 90 days. Let's just round that up to 100 days just so we can do percentages.
Right.
So 100 days, you're looking at a 1% day of irregularity. Everything else was on board or above. Why does that make me think I need to change anything?
Right. And motherfuckers act like, first of all, that the company themselves even knew, the people that they even knew y'all were doing that.
Yo, Marissa just said it's just like when they tried to do the gas boycott. Everybody just filled up their tanks the day before. No money was lost.
Yeah.
No money was lost.
Yeah.
They didn't feel that in any way, shape, or form. If anything, you made gas more expensive.
Because everybody ran to get that. Basically, again, I don't understand why people don't get the idea of just picking one company.
Well, I wouldn't say that they don't get it. I would say that it hadn't occurred to them. I have not met one person who I actually brought that up to that didn't realize that would probably be a better idea. Like, nobody has given me.
But why? My thing is, why are they always trying to go big? Like, again, going big adds extra burden,
variables.
A different verb. Like, it's too big of a situation to say in a capitalist country that has numerous businesses to say we ain't going to support none of them on this day. You don't know what's happening in people's lives, but if you have
no idea,
if you pick something, for instance, like Marissa said, KFC, you can always go to Popeyes.
Yep.
So now you're still not giving KFC any money, and you're not doing without chicken.
Right.
So
it's a fact.
Why would you try every fucking company in the country?
It's not realistic.
You do that?
It's really not realistic. And here are one of the dumb things I heard. A couple of the dumb things I heard. So one, leading up to this, and again, I was not in fight back mode because I didn't want to discourage anyone.
You didn't
But
want
leading
to
up to
come
this-
off as Loki in Asgard. I understand.
Yeah, man.
understand.
So leading up to this, the biggest one that I saw of quote unquote evidence of why this was going to work is because Black people hold $1.3 trillion of buying power.
Right.
So I kept hearing that. So I decided to do some research and found out that in 2017, the amount of money spent domestically was somewhere between 17 and 19 trillion. So what is that 1 trillion gonna do? If you got every Black person to contribute, what is that $1 trillion gonna do?
Good question.
Because it didn't say, matter of fact, it wouldn't even be those numbers, because that would be if you got every Black person to stop spending money in the United States for the entire year.
Yeah. So this is nothing. This is a drop.
So you're talking about a day?
Yeah.
A day? Another dumbass, I swear. I had this conversation with old boy that was trying talk shit on Keith posts.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. Simpleton.
Y'all gotta do better with your thought processes. Like, if I call an idea of yours dumb, that is not me calling you dumb.
Yeah.
I have no reason to attack you, especially if I don't know you personally.
Right.
It's just that's not what I do. I've never really been on that type thing. Like, nah. But one of the other dumb pieces of, I don't even know what to call it, disgusts me, that was spouted out of somebody's fingers was, yeah, they saw what happened with Black Panther. That movie made billions of dollars and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. So I simply responded, so you think that less than $2 billion missing from the economy would make everything right? That they would really be scared of losing less than $2 billion? It's people in this country with more money than that.
They don't even know that y'all will be responsible. See, this is the part that really,
mind you, that also implies that only Black people went to see Black Panther.
yeah, yo,
A movie that happened to be tied to the biggest movie
franchise,
right? Come on,
see,
poor baby. See, you don't know no better.
Stupid. See, this is the thing that really irritates me, man. Because when we talk about this a lot on the show, it bears repeating. We are not geniuses.
No, by
We are
no
not
stretch of the imagination.
Exceptional prodigies. So this is why we get irritated, because this shit. Okay, so truth be told, this does take just a moment to actually sit there and think outside of the box of your bias.
Facts.
And so yeah, it requires a little bit of brain work, right? But none to the point. This isn't advanced calculus. You say y'all have a calm down. Some of you have the inability to make connections where they actually supposed to.
Bruh.
God, and I'm sitting there going, listen, we all slip. We all have these moments of blinders, blind spots. But y'all do that shit consistently. And I'm sitting there going, so you don't see how, did you really bring Black Panther in the, you don't see how,
it's not the same. Yo, it's not even an analogy.
But then we wonder why shit is the way it is.
Right.
It
See,
has nothing to do with morality.
No, and that's my problem.
Everything to do with a certain level.
I'm a personal
education,
responsibility type person, man.
Yeah, man.
Personal responsibility is big to me. It pains me to see so much basic economic illiteracy.
Yeah.
Basic economics. We're not talking about being nobody financial planner or no shit like that.
Right.
I'm talking about basic economics. The very idea that if somebody has their reports split up quarterly, which is a 3-month period, that you think that one day is going to actually move the needle on anything. Anything. One day, you really think we're not talking about, all right, getting someone's attention is directly related to how much you can actually affect them.
Right.
If they are hesitant to give you their attention.
Right.
It's directly related to the amount that you can affect them. How much money do you spend on a daily basis? Right? Because here's the thing. If you spend,
I don't spend much money on a regular basis either.
Right.
I don't.
So realistically, me not spending money
I might
Tuesday,
spend $5 out of the whole week.
It's possible.
I work from home,
right?
So I might go up to the gas station,
right,
and get some when I'm taking a walk and get a snack or something to drink.
But bruh, I literally saw people going back to the example that Marissa gave. I literally saw people saying, "Make sure y'all get y'all gas before."
So in other words,
so you don't understand.
Make sure you give them their next day's profits today. I will gladly pay you tomorrow
for a hamburger
on Tuesday.
It fits so well. It fits so well. Because Blackout Day was on a Tuesday. It fits so well.
This is again. I listen. All of this, far be it for me to be a conspiracy hypothesis, right? It's not what I do. I ain't into that. But don't y'all think that it is awfully convenient that they fuck our schools up and don't really give the attention to certain shit that they give to their kids, to our kids in school? And then when we get older, we have issues with problem solving. I'm just saying, it seems
that's
like...
not a conspiracy, man. That's a direct through line. It's not a conspiracy. It is what it is.
It becomes a conspiracy when you apply intent to it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I'm just saying, at this point, I'm implying intent and saying, is this why this is the case? Because by the time your ass gets older and becomes an adult, a decision maker, someone that actually could be a threat, you don't have the tools to figure out how to make the connections where the connection is supposed to fit. And if you don't have those tools, how are you going to know when you're actually doing something that's making a difference? Yeah. How?
I opened up my Facebook.
You should never do that. Don't ever do that again. Never open your Facebook again.
Nigga, I opened up my Facebook and immediately another thing that I wanted to talk about that just didn't happen to make the damn docket.
Right.
This whole black business versus black consumer fight that's going on.
That's been going on for years, actually.
Yes, but again, with everything going on, it's amplified right now.
Right.
Let me just read. So the picture that this person shared says, "Black owned does not mean cheaper, discounted, or free." Unlearn that. Facts. The response to that in the same picture was, "Black owned also shouldn't mean $45 for a t-shirt that says melanin."
Right.
Facts. But this person put a comment, a caption. "People really irritate me. Black people will literally spend $90 for a polo shirt, $80 for Levi's, etc., but complain about a $45 shirt from a black-owned business. Newsflash, from someone that made one shirt that's actually cheap as fuck because the materials to make a shirt alone is damn near $30. Black people gotta do better." That is not how that works.
No, it's not.
That is not how that works for several reasons. One, I got to speed around this because I'm not done with this fucking Blackout Day shit. One, money is a thing is as valuable as the value that we put on it.
Yeah.
So this is an unfortunate truth that should be different, but
It's not.
these are companies with decades of an established brand,
Right.
and they go through their highs and lows as far as public perception. But overall, these brands have high public perception.
Right.
That is why the value is what it is.
Right.
Now, there are certain situations where you can put together a shirt that might cost you $30 to make. Absolutely, it's possible.
Right.
But we've sold shirts and they wasn't being made at $30 a pop. None of the ones I sold.
Facts.
None of the ones I sold. Like one or two of them may have cost like $24
Right.
to the consumer, but to make, no, absolutely not. Matter of fact, no, I don't have one. I thought I had one of the Black Culture Geeks or NAG District or one of those shirts. I thought I had it on right now, but I don't. But like that's what I'm saying. Like, so again, I have experience with this. This is not me talking out of my ass. This is not me looking at something logically and trying to reverse engineer. No, this is me speaking from experience.
Right.
You can do that, but the reality is it doesn't make sense for you to do that given that you're starting out.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to spend $30 to make one t-shirt.
Facts.
That's a failure on your part. Also, the other thing, the customer service argument. Keep saying, because I joined one of these Black-owned business groups.
Mhm.
I keep saying, y'all got horrible customer business service, blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
And the response to that is usually our feelings. Our feelings. Why you got to talk about our bad customer service in public? Because y'all gave bad customer service. I don't understand. Now, there are situations, absolutely, where there are people who blow it out of proportion.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
1,000%. That is a thing.
I've seen that.
But as I see these conversations erupting in that group, I slide in and
You
carefully,
slide-
also
you slide
carefully.
into the DMs.
Listen, I also carefully remind some of these fellow business owners
Mhm.
that customers don't owe you a thing.
They don't owe you nothing.
You have all the responsibility to make this interaction go well.
Facts.
Is that fair? No, but you're not operating as a citizen. You're operating as a business.
Right.
And because you have the right to sell and distribute these things, it comes with a certain level of responsibility.
Facts.
I've saw people saying, oh, some of these Black consumers need to go to a customer service class. No, they don't.
No, you need to.
It is
go
not
to
upon
one.
them. It is not incumbent upon them to learn to be better customers. Should they be better customers? Sure.
But see, I don't even know what that would entail beyond anything more than being polite, which is shit that you would.
That's what I
get.
mean. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You would
Being
learn
polite.
that from your mama. and
Exactly.
daddy. Like,
There are just people who aren't polite,
yeah.
and there are people who are having bad days.
And what would you honestly teach somebody
Right.
that's a consumer?
There is no such thing as customer etiquette. The customer is always right saying it's just like a stereotype. It comes from somewhere.
Right. Right.
It is not, it should not be meant to say that a customer can literally get away with anything. No, that's not
even
what it should be meant to
and
say.
everybody knows that's not what they mean. He's basically
Right.
saying you are trying to get money. And
That is it. That is it.
Continue having this person come to your store so you
If
continue
you
to get
have
money.
a situation with two entities, one entity's existence depends on currying in the favor of the other entity.
Right.
That means it's your responsibility to make
Right.
sure that interaction
Right.
goes down well.
Right.
It is not incumbent upon the other entity. Should they be a decent person? Absolutely.
Yeah.
1,000%. Without question. unequivocally, they should be a decent person, be polite, not be rude, not be demanding, not be all those things that equate people with being pieces of shit. Absolutely 1000%. But it is not incumbent upon them as far as the interaction goes.
No, that's you. Look, I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you right now, I've dealt with customer service in music as well as in beauty supplies. You know, I've literally been out like vending places with the table, the merchandise, and all that. It's you, dog. You are the
been
one
out here.
You can be annoyed by the way the customer approach you, but you still gotta grit your teeth and bear it. Now we saying within reason. If the motherfucker comes over there and he or she is completely out of pocket,
being belligerent,
I don't even want to sell you my shit at this point. You know,
you got to make that decision.
Right.
Yeah, you be out.
But
move around, my guy.
Overall, the whole being short with people all the time or extra snippy, like that is no way that somebody that works in the field that's relying on people having a need for what or want what you sell or do. That's no way to keep them coming back. It is what you want repeat customers. Right?
Yo, your level of not even responsibility. Your level of effort that you need to put into that interaction going well is directly related to how well you've cornered the market.
Yeah.
If you selling t-shirts, you got to do backflips.
Facts.
I don't give a fuck how you feel. You're allowed to feel your feelings, absolutely. But you are not a person. You're not interacting as a person. You're interacting as a business.
You know what's so funny about that line? You're allowed to feel your feelings. So I was watching The Breakfast Club again the other day, and there's a part in there where somebody says, I think it's Molly Ringwald says, "I have just as many feelings as you did." I have never understood what the fuck that means. Are you saying emotions? I have just as many. I feel stuff. What do you
know what the hell it means, goddammit? All right, so let me explain. Let me explain what the phrase
made sense. Like,
let me explain what the phrase means, because I know you know what the words mean, obviously. What the phrase means, because the response, it's one of those things, you know, taking the breath out of somebody's argument before they make it. Because the response is always, yeah, but I mean, of course, they don't say my feelings are hurt, but the response is always like, I deserve to be treated like a human being, that type stuff.
Right.
So it's like, no, you're right.
I'm not an animal.
Right. No, you're right. You absolutely deserve to be treated like a human being because you are a human being. But you're not operating in that capacity right now. You're operating in the capacity of a business.
Right.
You are providing a good or a service. If you feel like you are, I saw one of this somebody that chimed in on this particular topic, and she was like, because it was about Black-owned businesses not showing prices and requiring you to DM them in order to get prices.
I see a
and
lot
she
of that
said,
online too. I do.
And she said, my stuff is on my website. If you ask me, if you have an inquiry, I will direct you to my website. If you are too lazy to go to my website after I direct you to my website, you're not somebody I want as a patron. I respect the fuck out of that,
because I feel like so there has to be some sort of an exchange going on here. So the online businesses are not like brick and mortar stores.
No.
When you go to a brick and mortar store, you walk in there, you can pick up the item a lot of times, and the price tag is right on there. The equivalent of that online is my website.
Yeah.
This is my substitute for the brick and mortar store. Now, yes, absolutely, there has been times where people will call ahead of the store to get a price.
Absolutely.
But the reality of the situation is that most of the time now, you don't need to do that.
Right.
You don't need to hold up somebody from doing the work at their job to call and ask prices, because you can literally go to their website. Yeah. Even if they have a brick and mortar store, you can go to the website and see how much the shit costs. This does not require of you an extreme amount of work, but it is
No.
some labor on your part that should be selfish to you because you should go, yo, I want to know how much this costs.
Right.
And I don't want to talk to your ass.
Right.
Okay.
I should be able to take care of that without having
But I
a
have to talk to
conversation
your
with you.
ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. All right, so back to the main topic. That was a long ass tangent. But like I said, as soon as I opened Facebook, it was right there. But anyway,
never do that again.
So what have they done with all of the success of this one day boycott?
Let me guess. Hold on, let me guess. They planned a trip. No, they bought a building. No, they did that. They got their own Netflix series. Okay,
No.
I'm out. I'm out of.
Allow me to read it. Effective immediately and indefinitely. So hear ye, basically. From 5 p.m. Friday to 5 p.m. I'm sorry, I skipped the part. Hashtag blackout weekends. From 5 p.m. Friday to 5 p.m. Saturday, no spending. And then on Saturday nights, we will continue to intentionally spend our dollar with the black businesses. We will continue to blackout weekends every week until the powers that be draft up a treaty with people of African descent in America that is adequate restitution and restoration for the centuries of institutionalized and systemic oppression, dehumanization, and terrorism that we have endured in this land. So, remember I said, one of the reasons that I was leaving this alone before it happened was because it was possible that he was trying to curry favor, and at the point that he received his favor, he would make an actual amendment to what's going on to actually get something done, right? What you've essentially done is, matter of fact, kudos, because you separated the goals.
Right.
You split the goals. Kudos for that, because that takes one of the levels of confusion out of this whole mess. Good. Appreciate that. So that means that shows some level of self-awareness.
Right.
Some level. Or somebody on your team.
Right.
Either way, it doesn't matter. It's what comes out. So kudos for that. But from Friday 5 p.m. to Saturday 5 p.m., what you've essentially done is now started to work against yourself, because it's still a day. It's not a weekend.
Yeah.
It's still a day. It's still a 24-hour period.
Right.
But you've now just split that up over 2 actual days. So if somebody was in this position that it's hard to do this and they try and hold out, and now, oh man, I need to buy this, and it's not 5 p.m. on Saturday yet, but I really need to buy this, whatever it is, because again, there's no honing in on any specific target.
Right.
So I'm going out of town for a family reunion.
Right.
And I blow my tires on the way.
Right.
And it's only 12 p.m. on Saturday.
Right.
So I got to sit here for 5 hours. No. No.
It doesn't make sense. Like, again, you decided to double and triple and quadruple down on this tactic that you still haven't proved worked the first time.
Right.
Again, all you did was put undue hardship on the people that actually buy into it and are going to try to run that shit that way. And again, you still don't have anything in place to determine whether or not the shit worked the first time, let alone these added days that you decide to do that. And again, I just say, like, what do you want to do when a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months goes by? and your demands have not been met because they don't even realize they're being punished for anything.
Right.
Because this looks like business as usual. We have peaks, we have valleys.
Right.
What are you going to do with the morale of the people that you have gathered into your little circle and sold them a dream that this is how we get reparations, this is how we get? No, it's not. And again, you still don't have a way to tell if everyone's doing what you say they're doing, or if this is the reason that they took a loss that day. You still don't have. I mean, like I said, I don't understand. But again, there's a part of me that really feels like, yo, the inability to make connections where they matter is what's causing a lot of the issues. It's one of the reasons why decades and centuries go by before any substantial shit change. Because y'all, when you're developing a plan, when you're putting together a tactic, you have to have some sort of concept of how one thing affects the other, the chain of events. And even though it's speculative in the beginning, it's, of course, you don't know if this is going to work that way, but you need to be at least reasonably good at putting Legos together.
Ain't nobody asking y'all to build houses from scratch.
No.
We just want you to put the Legos together.
That's all.
These are things that exist for us. Like I said, before this whole thing started, I had no idea how much money was spent domestically in a year.
Right.
I had no idea how stock market prices rose and fell.
Right.
How did I find those things? I did a little tiny bit of cursory research.
Again, that's my other issue, yo. Like, you did a little bit of research and got the answer to that. How much?
My common sense tells me that one day is a blip.
So my point is, how do they not, like, if you're gonna go take this sort of undertaking, doesn't it seem smarter to you to build an infrastructure, of accountability, checks, and things like?
Yo, they have an issue with numbers. Anything that seems grand, to them personally, they conflate it with this the country, and it's infuriating. 1 million people is a lot of people. 1 million people is not a lot of U.S. citizens.
Nah, not when there are 327 million.
So that's 0.3%.
Yeah.
That's not helpful.
What the hell? Keep going.
Jeez. What are you? I think T'Challa broke something. He needs to stop allowing him to mess with the timeline because it's clearly affecting his day-to-day life at this point. Like, I can't remember the last time that Tomb got up from, what up, Addy? I can't remember the last time Tomb got up from the desk during a recording once. And he's done it 3 times in this episode alone. It's that damn T'Challa. And ultimately, it's Tomb's fault because he allowed him to alter the timeline. And now my phone is ringing again. I wonder. But I can't answer it anyway because I'm recording. This is why anybody who knows me, this is why, one of the reasons why, it behooves you to text me. Send me some form of text if you would like to communicate with me, because that is generally the best way to get a response from me. Numbers are hards. That is a fact, Addy. Numbers be fucking y'all up. Like, and anything that seems grand. 1 trillion, 1.3 or 1.7 or 3.9. I've heard all of these numbers for the dollars of the black financial power in this country. I've heard all of those numbers, and y'all got impressed by the word trillion. They had you at trillion. Whereas in, like I said, 2017, the gross, the domestic spending. My phone is ringing again. Why is my phone being blown up? Again, you got a text. But anyway, that is a drop in the bucket virtually compared to the 17 to 19 trillion that was spent domestically in the United States in 2017. It just is what it is. I have a horrible time with comparisons and how they actually work. Addie, that's the point. That's why you shouldn't call me, because I'm not going to answer the phone. That is exactly why. See, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. And Adequate's playing. Adequate's joking. But some people have actually said this to me, and it ties in with this whole issue that people have of comparing things and reaching conclusions. Why are you blowing my phone up? Because you don't answer the phone. That makes no sense. That's not helping your cause. Like, again, Addie's joking. But there are some people that actually have that logic. Why are you blowing my phone up? Because you didn't answer the phone. Well, yeah. So why would you assume that the chances would be higher of me answering the phone the next time?
Try another form of communication. Oh, wait.
Thank you.
or fucking wait. You know, send a carrier pigeon or some shit.
Right.
Wait.
Right.
Until the person gets back to you.
Wait till I can. I do things with audio. Yeah. I record 2 podcasts.
What the fuck?
I record music. Oh, there was an idea. Go check those out on the streaming platform thingies. Go check all those out. Haven't promoted it in a while. Found out that I got some very interesting numbers that I did not expect to get. As far as you know, I put out the first one in March.
Madness.
Yeah, and I've reached a relatively decent amount of streams, especially compared to the amount of promotion that I do for it. So this is me trying to Which is me trying to rectify that. So go check that out again. If you've listened to it, listen to it again. If you haven't listened to it because you hadn't gotten a chance to, go check it out. All streaming platforms. It's on my YouTube as well, SPJ. Go listen to There Was an Idea, the method and the premise. Go check those out. Fulfillment coming soon, but the 2 that's out, y'all go do what y'all do with those things. But yeah, man, I just don't understand. Like I said, before the actual day came, I had hope that since this was stupid, the idea was to get people on your side so that you can evolve it into something that actually has a chance of working.
Right.
But no, you basically doubled down. You like I said, there was an improvement. You did separate distinctively the difference between when you're not supposed to spend money and when you're supposed to support Black businesses. Love it. But again, you split the 24-hour period over 2 days, which means Saturday is going to be a wash if you're spending your money with Black-owned businesses to have their paperwork in order. It's going to be a wash because there's going to be no way to determine what the impact was.
You know what the other problem with that plan is, too?
Yeah.
So most people get their paychecks
paid on Friday.
And most people also do
talk about it.
Their weekly grocery shopping over the week.
When they get paid.
So, like, I'm just saying.
Bruh, you are requiring unnecessary sacrifice. That's the issue.
For something that may or may not work. Addy says, I see a comment here. He said he's the Flash of Cats. I'm assuming he's talking about T'Challa, right?
I was talking about T'Challa.
So that last time was actually, it's funny y'all say that, because it actually was about T'Challa.
See?
So I don't know if whoever came in through the back door did not close it all the way, right? But I was under the impression that when you close our screen door, there's a little catch that goes click.
Yeah.
So you can't just push it open. You have to hit the thing. I looked over there, and his ass was going out the door. Now that's not the problem. That's not the problem.
Because you have him tracked.
Yeah, we have him tracked. My problem was that the door was open. So now flies, that backyard is full of greenery and shit like that. I hate when flies. I don't like, can I say this? I don't like people in my house. Right?
Flies aren't people.
Listen, they'll do until people come along.
Okay.
Listen,
I don't think that works here.
They're horrible house guests.
Okay, sure, but all right.
I can't have them in here. And this is what makes it worse. The other living beings that live in this house that are of the other species, feline, don't know how to act when shit flying around in here.
Yeah, they hate them too. Well, hate or love, depending on what you perspective, but
right. And then they can't. Then it's the bullshit. It's the running on top of shit,
jumping around. Yeah,
acting like Mr. Miyagi with the chopsticks.
Oh God!
Listen,
right? No, you're
so
right.
I had to go over there and secure the door because him being out is fine, especially around this time of day. But the whole leaving the door open, I can't. And I would love for Addie to mind his damn business with the whole you don't like anything. Like,
yo,
I'm just saying. I don't like
we know that's not gonna happen. So.
I don't like people in my house, man. So I definitely don't want flies, and I
mean, it's a very loose correlation, but I get
listen. I don't. They're living things that don't belong in here.
I know. I get it.
They gotta go.
I said, I get it. I get it.
They gotta go.
But yeah, man, I just.
Well, here's the thing, right? On the bright side.
There's a bright side?
There is a bright side.
Okay.
The fact that before a lot of this shit was happening, you only had a small amount of people that were attempting to try something.
Sure. So
at the very least, a page is able to get 1 million heads on there. It's because of what's happened. So somebody at some point recognized the opportunity to address these things, and they would get the maximum amount of attention they've gotten probably in years. My issue is...
Wait, before you move on to your issue, because I want to talk about that. If we go to a town meeting and we find out that there is a dragon down by the lake that is eating everyone who attempts to go get water, and we are running low on water.
Right.
And I decide, because this has gone on for a while, so we're kind of screwed up over here. So I decide, you know what? No one has really tried to attack this dragon. I'm gonna go down there with a hot dog. And see if I can stab it in the heart.
Right.
Did I really do anything?
No, you didn't. But that was part of my issue. My issue is, like you said in your analogy, this has been going on for a while. So is all this other shit. And those of them that have been thinking about this for a while, you had all this time to come up with all those things that would have facilitated this a hell of a lot better. And you blew it. Right. Like you had all this time before the attention to this thing was the way it is now. And it was just a few heads that were working on this. You had all this time to structure this and put this thing. Can you imagine? All this time? And now when you find
yo, wait, I'm sorry. I gotta. Andy said you fed the dragon twice. Facts. Because he's gonna eat the hot dog and then he's gonna eat me.
He's gonna eat you. You know? I don't know, man. Like I said, people have an inability to utilize time properly.
Bruh.
They have a planning issue. They have a processing of information issue. And it's hard to really run a movement when the figureheads seem to have these issues. It's one thing the worker bees with that.
That's my thing.
Shit, but the figureheads,
the worker bees should be loyal, right? That's what they're for.
Right.
They are supposed to be loyal. But the queen bee is supposed to know how to navigate.
Right.
The queen bee is supposed to know
the ship.
Right.
Now, it makes no.
This is what I need y'all to do.
Right.
This is what I need y'all to do. I might may or may not tell you why, but this is what I need y'all to do. And I have to have some type of accountability. See, what happens is when you move this quickly and don't actually make too many changes, it keeps the momentum going for the people who went along with this this I hesitate to call it a ruse, but because again, I still don't think
into the building.
I still don't think that he has malicious intentions.
No, he probably
I
don't.
really think that he thinks he's doing something, which is even sadder, actually.
Yeah,
because I can respect.
It's what we said about Gilly. You you really think you said
you
something
think
positive.
You're helping, which and I can respect the person that's on some bullshit but know what they're doing.
Right.
I can respect their mind at least. When he is the most dangerous. He potentially this can be Dr. Umar without the malicious stuff.
Right.
Potentially. Right. Because he is super charismatic. But watching those videos, I can tell he has no idea what he's talking about. And about certain things. Not everything.
That's my issue with a lot of that, because people that are super charismatic, I've seen all different types of those.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen those that have more passion than sense.
Huh.
So they're very good at moving, like infecting other people with their emotional conviction. But the solutions they try to come up with are solely based emotionally. So all it's going to do is get people in trouble. It's not going to really do what they want it to do, right? Then I've seen other motherfuckers that are malicious, but their charisma is on 1,000, right? And they look like they know what they're doing because this hustle they've been like running.
Adolf, Jim, Donald, those types of names come to mind.
Yeah, like they know that this hustle it is. They've carefully constructed it. So they inoculate a lot of the true believers from anybody that would come there and try to undermine them and say, yo, this makes no sense. They already got counter arguments. They already got all this shit that's vague enough, but vivid enough for people to buy into. And then you have the other guys, the guys like my homeboy CJ used to say I was, after he read that that I think it's the Robert Greene book, The Art of Not Persuasion. I forget what the name of the book, but it was about kind of persuasion, being persuasive. He said that according to the book, I had the guru vibe, and that's the person that has a vision for something and is very well at articulate. Yo, we could do this. Yo, we could do that. We could do this. They may not have all the details down, but yo, let's figure out so we can do this. Those are the three people I've seen. And unfortunately, I've seen more of the guys that don't really know what the fuck they're doing, but they're very charismatic at what they think needs to be done. They'll tell you, look, this is an actual problem. Yeah. And you can see the problem. All the people can see this is a problem. And it's charismatic enough to get them to believe that the plan they have to solve this problem will work. And these people are followers, which is nothing wrong with that.
At all. Because you need all types of different soldiers in the army.
Facts. But they're not critical thinking.
That's my issue. Not necessarily. Matter of fact, I'm sorry. I care less about them being critical thinkers. My issue is the ignorance that they're displaying. Like, it's one thing to not think deep into everything. I get that, right? But it's another thing that when someone is presenting you with, at best, not even anecdotal proof.
But see, that's where that critical thinking comes in. Because
yes, if they were critical thinkers, it wouldn't be even be an issue.
Yo, we with you. We know this is a problem, but we don't think this idea.
Right.
You're missing some shit, because the more intelligent your followers are, the more effective the movement will be.
Absolutely.
The more competent they are,
Mm-hmm.
and also you as the leader, this helps you
100%.
because wherever you're lacking, somebody saw the shit and go, "Oh, wait a minute."
Right.
And from what you've described, this shit, because this group, by the way, I did know about this group because my mother-in-law told me about this group. Like, I guess around the time when they first started.
Yeah.
And so I was aware. But when she told me what they were trying to do, I had already had this conversation before with another activist friend of mine who was doing something very similar. And I mentioned to her trying to get all companies boycotted at once.
It's an exercise in futility.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. It's too many, it's too big, and our people, I love our people, but our people have also been compromised.
Yo, think about the last 4 or so episodes. We've had at least one prominent Black person who is actively, maybe not intentionally in some cases, but actively working against the movement.
Yeah, undermining the movement. Yep.
These are just
They're
popular
compromised.
people.
Right.
These
We're not
just
even talking about
people.
the regular.
We're not talking about the layman.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's difficult. It's difficult. Like, I want to make this kind of about us. One thing I like about Multiworld is everybody here understands not just what the goal is, but they all have varying degrees of understanding on how to get there.
Yeah.
So certain things we'll say we don't have to explain, but so much because they get it already. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we need to do that. Oh yeah, we need to do that. But again, we're working with a small amount of people.
Yeah.
1 million?
Right. That's the thing. Not honestly, outside of this other group that we're supposed to be planning, outside of that, if it was my way and my way only, this is how I would handle that. Actually, honestly, the way I would handle that is kind of the way that I'm handling the planning group.
Right.
No, all of y'all can't post. It's not necessary.
Right.
There's the point. There's a specific point to this group. All of you cannot post. It is not necessary for all of you to post. On top that's one of the issues that happened in this big group is certain people's posts were getting approved and certain people's posts weren't. Right. Now, is that favoritism? We have no way of knowing because the group is so large. It could have been a situation where one admin came across one post and didn't come across another post. Another admin at the same time came across a different post. They say the same thing. One of them accepts it. The other one now sees that this one has been accepted and now has no reason to accept the other one.
Right.
It could be that simple.
Right.
But because these people, the ones complaining about this behavior, may not have experience with being an admin of a group or may not just be capable in the moment to think beyond themselves because they have their feelings really see again. I saw the smile. I saw the smile when I said it. Anyway, they may not be able to separate themselves from the situation enough to be objective about this.
Right.
So it becomes an issue. So no, none of y'all motherfuckers posting. There's no reason for any of you to post. There's a point to this group. We got to operate on the point of this group. Anybody operating outside of the point of this group, you have free reign to operate somewhere else. But while you're participating in this group, you can start your own group. You can do a group chat. You can do Messenger with any of these individuals. You can do all that. You can go on your page.
You can do any
all of that's to your
all
of it is to your disposal.
You can eat
absolutely.
Fish. You can do whatever.
You can shop on Groupon.
Right. You can do
all of it. You can do any of it. But as for me and my group, to paraphrase a popular frame in the Christian community, as for me and my group, we will serve this purpose. that is what's going to happen here. We're going to serve this purpose. So there are a lot of things. There are a lot of issues that I have with that group, but it's pointless to raise all of those issues in the group. They
can't even get this
right.
Right.
They have like it, and that's another thing. Sad truth that we have to get around. We vastly overestimate the amount of power that we have in certain situations.
I was saying that before too. Yo, what? It's again, like I've stated before, there are certain things we are limited from being able to do simply by virtue of the fact that we stayed.
Yep.
There are certain, you blended your money in with them. You blended your narratives, your societal narratives. This, you want to know why your name in their mouth? You want to know why your plight is in their mouth? Because it's really hard for you to tell them not to have it when it's catch of the day on news, because you living in the same society.
Yeah.
By virtue of the fact that you certain shit, you're going to be limited.
Yep. It just is what it is.
It is what it is.
You cannot do everything. Not immediately.
No, not at all.
Not immediately. No. This is something where we need help. It's just that plain and simple. So you have those people in the group too. Why are these white people in here? Bruh.
Why?
Is it possible that some of them have ill intent? Of course.
Of course. It's always moles. But it's some of y'all. We just got finished.
Yo.
We just got finished. Come on, man. Like, come on.
Man, some of y'all
ain't right.
So yes, it's possible. It's absolutely possible some of them have ill intent. Of course. Any human is capable of doing that.
Listen, the NAACP was funded by white and Jewish people. Literally funded by them.
Yeah.
Like we started off saying, right? Most of the organizations here in the United States, black organizations that have actually got some things done, were funded by outside entities of people outside of the community that either were sympathetic to the cause, or maybe even let's go with the most malicious reason. They saw how they could benefit from that.
Yeah,
whatever the cause,
it doesn't matter,
right? So
get out your feelings. It don't matter. Let's take Tyler Perry. Everybody calls him a self-made millionaire. Well, guess what he had to do in order to get there?
Yeah, I don't think anyone that says that should.
There's no such thing as a self-made millionaire.
Yeah, not in a country that has an infrastructure.
Right.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't exist here.
No.
Someone had to contribute, whether that is patronizing you or whatever the situation is. Someone had to contribute.
Someone else's labor.
Right. Someone had to contribute in some way, shape, or form. You can't do this on your own.
Nigga, I always bring this up. There is a public school system in this country.
Yeah.
That at least gives a basic education to workers, to potential workers,
farmers.
So that when these companies are going into the population pool to find workers for their labor to exploit, they don't have to educate these people from the ground up,
right,
to get them a job, because the public school system they already know how to read. They already know how to count. They already know how to do all the stuff that makes them at least basically qualified for entry-level positions at the job to do the grunt work. These are not things that the guy or woman that's running the company had to pay for and invest in themselves. There was a society that did that. That fucking electrical grid that we're all using over here was put together. That infrastructure was put together by a government entity. None of these individual businesses had to invest.
Right.
The roads here that you use to move your products, be it your ingredients for whatever you're doing, or the base parts, back and forth across the country. Most companies did not have to spend money to build a road to get their shit to come back and forth. There's an infrastructure here that other countries don't have. And if you think you did this shit without the help of anybody and you self-made, I want you to go to one of those countries that does not have this type of infrastructure in place and start from zero there and build.
Wait. You wouldn't even have to start from zero. Start with enough seed money to start a company.
Even if you have that, though.
Right. That's still not, you're not going to make it.
Because we live in a global economy, you would literally have to go get some other company outside to hire them to come in and do a lot of shit, because if the people there haven't been educated with a basic education or how to do certain stuff, you can't even use the people that's there to do a lot of the stuff you need done. So the idea that this is some type of a thing where you are self-made in a country that has an infrastructure.
Even if it was as simple as somebody deciding to give you a chance.
Yeah. That person that gave you a chance, they're already built up to a certain point. It's not, no.
It ain't you.
It's not just you. Yeah, you had the idea.
You made the moves you were supposed to.
Yeah, you did your part, but the idea that you just how we say in Islam, kun fire kun, and everything came into existence. Nah, B. Nah.
You ain't got that kind of power.
Come on, man. Like, no, it was something that was here already that you utilized. And of course, the decisions you made count. Choices you made count.
Absolutely.
But that bullshit that you created out of whole cloth, nothing. Nah, that doesn't work that way. Not here. Not here. It just don't.
No. It doesn't. All right. I think that's it.
That's it.
Because I could talk shit about that idea all day.
Of course. But I'm sure they'll be brought up again in other shows. Going to be some shit that's happening. I'm pretty certain of that. We want,
and I'll report on it if they make the necessary changes.
we want to actually be fair, and if they make the necessary changes and they actually make some fucking real moves, they're gonna get credit here, just like with anything else. Like, listen, the same way we're gonna talk shit when you're over there fucking up. We're gonna give you your flowers when you're not.
If Terry Crews ever made a legitimate, heartfelt apology and started exhibiting changed behavior, he would get that treatment too.
Yeah, he would get the same treatment. Yeah. Same with Gilly. Same
shit. Yeah.
We holler at you when you back on.
Only people like R. Kelly.
Fuck you, man.
There's nothing you could do.
Yeah, you want some other shit.
It's nothing he.
You ain't never getting Robert. You ain't never getting no love on this show, Robert.
Facts.
You ain't never getting no love on the show.
Nah, B.
So we want to thank everybody that took the time to listen to the audio broadcast, as well as people that showed up to this live stream. It is your participation in this content that keeps this content flowing.
Facts.
Also, the very fact that we continue doing this and having as much fun with it as we are is because you guys participate in this. So we want to thank all of you for that. Want to thank Marissa showing up to the stream. Want to thank our brother Addy, who gave us a great show. A compliment, and we appreciate that, even though you don't listen. You probably didn't hear what I just said. I bet you think this song is about you.
Oh my God.
So for my man SVJ, I am Tombstone the Dead Man, and for the greater multi-world entertainment family, we are out. And go check out Metas and Mutants.
Absolutely. Peace. Oh, man.